I'm feeling cleaner than I ever would be. It's cooler than Antarctica's weather would be. Damn, I think my swagger is a weapon to me. And dudes don't count you off the record to me. So don't be stepping to me, trying to shake my hand. I'm already the man, ain't trying to make your band. I feel the fact that I'm real, just make them mad. I be smoking helium to inflate my swerve. I'm fact that I'm real, just make them mad. I be smoking helium to inflate my swerve. I'm fly, yes, I'm high, yes. Every lady wanna get to this guy, yes. Go out tonight, I just might, yes. Style cleaner than yours, so don't buy, yes. I'm so debonair, so debonair. 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 You're not really seeing me, dog. Real talk. You feeling whacker than you ever would be. In mind, you think you.
Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. As you guys know, we're doing a little series here. Shout out to Carlos King for interviewing the Basketball Wives. You know, me and Cindy are going back and reviewing the interviews that Carlos King did over on his channel. So make sure you guys go over to his channel and actually watch the full interviews. The link is in the description. But today we are getting into the Jackie Christie interview. You can see it back here in the background. But before we do all that, let's take care of this channel. If you want to join my tribe, please come to my site. Go ahead and subscribe. Turn your notifications, turn them on all so you're notified every time I go live. Sign up to SoDebNair.com. If YouTube wants to send you a notification, my website will. Like the video, share the video, comment down here in the comment section, during, in the middle, however you feel like doing it, and then come over here to the chat and comment in the chat. And then also share the video, guys. All right, let's play the intro and let's get into it. Let's go.
I'm fly, yes, I'm high, yes. Every lady wanna get to this guy, yes. Go out tonight, I just might, yes. Style cleaner than yours, so don't buy, yes. I'm so debonair, so debonair. I'm so debonair, so debonair. I'm so debonair, so debonair. I'm so debonair, so debonair.
Cindy.
Hey!
I love doing that, Cindy.
I love when you do it too. I'm like, hi guys. We're back for a second day.
Yes, we are on track to really getting this stuff done.
Yes.
Let me ask you this: after we do like our reviews, or even like yesterday, do you ever go back and watch?
Yes.
Okay, so I went back and watched us yesterday. Like we dropped some real jewels yesterday.
We did. You know, like I said yesterday was, you know, we made the interview far more interesting than it actually was.
Absolutely.
And you know, it's just because we've been watching it for so long that we have the extra nuggets to add, right? Yeah.
And I think that even like going through Carlos King's interviews, like there's things that he doesn't remember.
Yeah.
Because like even on this one, he kind of mixed up Sunday with the Angels.
Yes, and
like, me and
he also mixed up Gloria with Laura.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Wait.
Gloria. Yes, he did. When he asks her about the fight with Malaysia, he says Laura, and it was Gloria. Laura didn't. Yeah, Gloria.
And you know what? When I read the notes, I'm probably going to say Laura because he said Laura.
Yeah.
But it's like the non-twin twins. Like I can't tell which one. No.
Exactly. And like I said yesterday, they both kind of cancel each other out. Although Laura is more entertaining than Gloria was.
Yes, absolutely, definitely understand that.
Yep.
Real quick, I know we had Shy-Town came in earlier. She said, "Welcome to SoDebNair Show." Please make sure you hit the like and subscribe button as you enter the room. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the commentary. What's going on to Pam in the chat? And also what's going on to KMB? She says, good evening, SoDeb and Cindy in chat.
Hey, KMB, and hey, Shy-Town.
Yes. So what's going on to everyone? Oh, and Pamela.
And Pamela.
Yes, everyone, welcome. I know who will be coming in as we get into this for the real basketball fans. I've been trying to look for like clips to the post on
Mm-hmm.
social media because I feel like we do have some conversations,
We really do.
about the stuff that we talk about that people can relate to.
Right. Yep.
So if you see something and you can give me a timestamp, let me know
Okay.
that way, or anybody in the chat as well. Like if you see anything that we said. So I remember Sassy P saying something yesterday. I think we're kind of going through the Jennifer and Evelyn situation,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I was like, but it was a two-way street. You know what I'm saying? And I think that going through the show and being fans like me and you are fans of the show, there's just things that we will remember, especially because we have like our favorites.
Yes.
And then like as a whole of the show, like we can remember certain things that another one of us wouldn't, or someone in the chat might never remember.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Even with
And I
Carlos,
think
even interviewing them, like you can tell like he doesn't remember everything.
right.
I just think
Exactly.
that because I think that Carlos kind of gets confused when it comes to LA and Miami a lot.
I think so. And he even kind of admitted that in
Yeah.
this interview, because he was just like, when they kind of merged together, his brain always kind of goes back to the Miami girls more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes sense though.
It does make I mean, they were first,
Yeah.
and so we've been seeing them longer. And like I said yesterday too, I think we pick up on things and correct certain things too, because we're invested. Like I said, I'm not as invested in the newer cast, which was a problem for me as a longtime viewer. That's why we were saying we need to get some of the older people back, because we want to hear what they're up to now. We're more invested with the people that we've been watching the longest, and that
Right.
only makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
So that all of that makes sense for me. I just think,
Mhm.
I think Nor said it best in the chat. Like we really dig into the show. So,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
to me, I feel like we do it best. So.
I think so too. and,
Yes.
and we have been and we have been complimented on that too. So thank everyone.
And what's going on to BJ Dez down in the chat as well. So let's just jump into what's going on over here with the basketball wife, Jackie Christie. Okay.
Mrs. Christie.
Yes. So I skipped down to Carlos asking her, does she feel like when they talked about the great reality TV stars, does she feel like no one mentions her name? Now, how do you feel about that?
Well, first let's do our ratings. We're skipping over the rating.
Well, I mean, I think we don't think we watched it.
Okay.
So we can rate it. We can rate it. Go ahead. You rate it, then I rate it.
I was gonna say I was, pleasantly entertained enough. I mean, and I'm talking about both in a positive and negative way, mainly negative. So I'll give it a 6. How about you?
Probably around the same.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like Jackie was all the way truthful.
The same. I
Okay.
agree. I thought it was just me. And it was more of like Jackie on the show rather than real
Yeah.
Jackie. But yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't feel
And
like
I was like, Jackie thinks she's slick. We caught on, girl.
yeah. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that she was still like amped up over like part B and what had happened.
Yes.
So her answers were very like slightful to me.
Yes. Yeah, to me too. You could tell that she was, and this was the thing that I didn't want to, jump the gun on yesterday, is that she seemed super emotional. She was more on the crazy Jackie side,
Yeah.
like on the verge of it. You know what I mean?
It was like Evan coming back. Oh, I just
Right.
Evelyn. And I'm like, girl,
And
you know
that's
you
my
like
sis, and we're good. Yeah, like it was too much. We're good, and that's my sister, and that's another one of my angels. And I'm like, who do you think you are, ma'am? But anywho, we're jumping ahead. So the question was, if she's one of those,
like as a reality TV star, he said when they talk about the greats, like
right?
he says
Like
you
Nene.
feel like no one mentions her name.
And I think
And you're
there's a
like
reason.
Nene, Tammy, Evelyn, like
Yeah,
all the greats.
I think there's a reason for that. I mean, I was surprised to know that even Nola, she said that she was a Jackie stan. I don't think she has very many stans. That's the issue, you know? And I so she's not a great in that sense. It's more of like kind of the kooky auntie.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call her a great of reality TV. You know, she doesn't have those, like Nene has thousands of memes, and it actually makes me sad for her because she doesn't get paid for any of that. But we can pull up any number of memes
Right.
of of catchphrases, you know, memorable lines, even
That's a
Candy.
really good point though that you just made though.
You see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
even Candy, we can go back to the
Mhm.
lies. Like, you know, those people are the ones that I would say the greats of reality TV. You
Yes.
know?
Even with Evelyn, like you can go back and pull up. Nobody cares.
Right.
Nobody cares.
And
You
no
pull up.
MF and Factor.
Yeah. Not. Yep. That.
Hmm.
Um. Tammy. I mean, she has a slew of them. The one. My
Flu.
favorite one is the one with her. She's like, I love that one. I use it all the time.
Exactly. Yeah. And
And just
we don't have those moments with
none with
Jackie
that.
because Jackie is so, when she goes off, she's so off the wall.
Mhm.
You know, you can't relate. I think what also makes people a great of reality TV and memorable is that, you know, you can relate to them. Like when
Right.
Jackie, you know, goes off on a tangent or, you know, does a Jackie thing, I don't relate to her. I typically relate to the person that she's going off on, you know, rather than
Right.
her.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? And so I was just like, that is what makes a great, is when you actually can relate. Like there are certain things, like even like I said, I'm going to go back to Nene, who I do feel like she's a great of reality TV, whether, you know, Andy wants to admit it or not, she is. Is that, you know, when she thinks something is funny, somebody's hairdo or something they say or do, it's I typically laugh too. I think it's funny as well, but I don't have those relatable moments with Jackie.
I don't think she has like any real punchlines besides one that we probably people would never really use, which was the
Right,
poor thing. Uh,
right. And again, she's
and
one of
actually,
those
my
women.
Evelyn's daughter, but just like shading one of the girls, that could have been a moment for her.
Yes.
But she doesn't really have like a meme that like sticks out to me.
No.
That would make me think like when I think of the greatest, what is called the multipliers.
Yeah. The what is it? What does he call them? We just said it like a million times yesterday.
I know I have it
Some,
written down too.
something with factor multipliers or multiplier factors.
Force multipliers.
Force more. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. I knew it was an
Most
F
of
in
the
there.
force multipliers, like they do have a lot of taglines where you can go and
Yes.
use it all the time.
Yep.
Like Jackie doesn't have that, and I think that she feels like she's bigger,
Yep.
especially from this interview. She feels like she's bigger than this, so it doesn't
Yes.
matter for her. You know what I mean?
I know, and I got that a lot too. Like he was saying, you know, let me give you your flowers, but I was just like, her behavior on and off the show seems to she's a little bit delusional about her importance.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, but you know, it is what it is. She has been on the show since the beginning, so
yeah.
of LA.
Of LA, yes.
Hmm.
So she said that she hears that a lot, which I'm like, who is telling that to you? But she
Exactly.
hears that a lot. She had a show called Christie Committed. I'm like, who knows what that is?
I actually knew what that was.
You
I
did?
remember that show. I remember
It
that
reminds
show.
me of Tammy. See, this I can quote Tammy. It's almost like when Tammy was talking to Duffy for me, when
Hmm.
she's like, "Oh, I am like DJ Duffy. I work for Drake. I work for this," and Tammy's like, "Who that was?
Right.
Like, who know what that show was?" I never
Right.
heard of that show until she said it though. So,
Really?
like,
I
what was
mean,
it? What was it aired on?
it was like on a VH1 or something like that. One of those a smaller cable
Mhm.
channels. I do remember seeing it. I do remember maybe watching an episode or two. I didn't love it because again, it was just like my husband, my husband, my husband, my husband, my husband, my, you know, all of that stuff. And so I didn't really care for her. So when she got cast into LA, I mean, obviously, granted, she is a basketball wife and has been one for a very long time.
Right.
However, she then on Basketball Wives behaved completely different than the other show. It was more like a homemaker family kind of show.
Mhm.
You know, and their millions of weddings that they have, you know.
Right.
But then she gets on Basketball Wife and is rolling on the floor and stuff. So I was like,
Mhm.
what's going on, ma'am?
But it also kind of explains their first season.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess let me wait to get into that.
Okay.
But I'm gonna just pin that.
Yeah.
So she said she was nervous about coming on to Basketball Wives. She went to a dinner, the one I've been talking to you guys about with Brandy on it,
Mm-hmm.
with the Basketball Wives. And I think they had visited LA, and that's when we seen Brandy and we seen Jackie for the
Mm-hmm.
first time.
Yep.
It was a Miami show, like they went to LA for that.
Mm-hmm.
And then production told her they wanted her to head the LA show. And I could see that.
I can see that.
Yeah, I
I
could see
mean,
that.
she was older than any of the other cast members that
Yeah,
they were going to bring on. I think that they probably cast her on it too, because trying to give a little bit of balance to Gloria, who they really built it around. So it was interesting when she was just like, they asked her to head it up, and I was like, no, it was really Gloria.
well, I'm wondering if they really did because again, I think that like Shawnee's want her away, but
Mm-hmm.
let me not fire her because of this. So I could see them asking Jackie to do that,
Mm-hmm.
but also letting Gloria believe that it was her show.
Yes, but I see your point there, but I really feel though, in my opinion, that Jackie really has delusions of grandeur. I mean,
Well, and that too.
I was going to say she was they were testing her out,
Yeah,
but they were already sure with Gloria. The only reason Gloria wasn't going to be on Miami anymore is because Matt got traded to LA and she was moving to LA. So
right.
really the truth of it is, Mrs. Christie, is that the show was centered around Gloria, but I do feel and agree with her that she probably was more of an anchor cast member,
Yeah.
to kind of build it around her. I definitely cannot see them casting her as the lead of that show.
You know what I thought about? They probably told her and Gloria that,
Yes.
and uh, like pinned them against each other for this because
Exactly. Now
yeah,
that I could see. I
yeah.
could see
Because
that.
to be honest, again, for me, I don't really. I knew Jackie was there, but I didn't really remember her that much from.
Right. She was not memorable. And that's what I'm saying. The show was not built around her because, like I said, I was probably one of 10 people that saw her previous show.
Yeah,
So she wasn't like a household name. Her husband, we knew him more. But I mean, again, at that time, Matt Barnes was the bigger star. He was younger, he was more relevant than Doug Christie. And so I'm pretty sure that the show was built around Gloria, but I can see Shawnee telling both of them that, you know?
yeah. But I can see production doing it to be messy.
Uh,
Because, I mean, learning that there were no female producers and they
right.
didn't know them. Like I could just see them causing like friction with women to like call, like make it a thing.
To make a drama.
And it was
But
like their
from
first season, so they kind of needed something to spark something. But little and
mhm,
behold, they know it wouldn't be Jackie and Gloria, it would be Malaysia.
mhm.
So yeah,
Well, that's true, but then from what Jennifer said that she never had a relationship even all the way back in Miami, so I doubt that.
no, that's
uh
what I'm saying. Though. I'm thinking that. Why I'm saying that's because I feel like production probably like gave them the notes because I think she said in this like I think Jennifer said this like the day or the week of like they get notes saying hey you're going to be filming with certain people but they don't have
These people,
any
this
idea
person
of what they're going to be actually talking about.
doing and talking about. Got it.
Yeah.
That's
Oh
true.
hey Toria,
Hey, Toria.
Matt was way bigger than Doug ever was in the league. Listen,
Yeah, sorry,
I'm with
because
Toria. I'm with you Toria.
mm-hmm.
Carlos asked, "Is there a basketball wives without Jake Christie?" Now, listen, I'm gonna let you answer. I need to take my contacts off and my glasses on because I can't see
Okay.
anything. So I'm
Okay.
gonna let you answer. Then I'll be right back.
Okay. So, guys, I really, I think anybody that has watched our reviews knows my opinion. I feel like, yes, there is a basketball wives without Jackie Christie. Um, However, it would be a change. I think, in my opinion, it will be a good change. I just don't know, I mean, I know that there are people that really want to see her shenanigans. I just feel like the older that she gets, it seems more and more out of place. And, I don't think a change after a decade would be a horrible thing. Now, I don't think they should just get a whole brand new cast, because we kind of had a version of that in this last season. And I feel like that didn't really work, because, like I said, once again, everybody was trying to kind of get to know each other, and it kind of um, derails the continuity. No, Toria, she's not leaving. No, Carlos King asked her, would there be a basketball wives if she had left, if she were to leave. And so Deb was asking my opinion on if I thought that the show would be over if she left. And the answer is no. I think that we could create continue the show without her, in my humble opinion. I'm curious though what you guys think and what he thinks. But I just feel like I said, the older that she gets, it just seems kind of silly at this point for her to compete with people that are like much younger than her, and that she compares herself to them. So that's my opinion.
I definitely think there's the best ones without Jackie.
Yep.
I think that she kind of built up off of people saying like Jackie's the show, but Evelyn was the show. Tammy was the show.
Yep.
Some people
And they survive. Even
Yeah.
Carlos said in this interview, Malaysia was a huge part of the show.
Mhm.
So I mean, if we can continue on with whoever is left, um, I think it's fine. Now, would I prefer to have some of the other people on there? That were the what is the phrase again? So Deb, the multiplier.
Force multiplier.
Force more multipliers. I would rather see them more, for sure.
Yeah.
And when they were there, they did outshine Jackie. And I don't want to speed ahead, but
Yeah, because
comparing.
I know she definitely lied in this, and I want to get
Mhm.
into that, but let's wait until we actually get to that conversation.
Okay,
Toria says I think we can get somebody more interesting.
I
And to
agree,
be
Toria.
honest, um,
I agree.
I'm with you, Toria, and we're going to get into a conversation about this in just a little bit.
Yep.
She said she would like to think that. She
Mhm.
said, but if it doesn't, she's cool with it, and she's tired.
Yeah.
She said, but it seems like only if they let her. So I wrote this. It sounded like only if she has like her own other projects that she.
Mhm.
And then she said, people say it's not a show without her, which we've heard that before.
We have. But I think,
But I think it's people who
I
don't really watch
definitely
the
think.
show either, though.
Right. And I definitely think there is also another person that comes to mind that I thought I was going to stop watching after she left, which was Drea.
Mhm.
So, they like the show can go on. They can, keep mixing it up. But like I said, I think we need more of those force multipliers.
Yeah,
And to me, Jackie isn't one of them. It's almost like, the force multipliers like an Evelyn or Tammy would laugh at her, would make fun of her. They weren't on the same level,
right.
she wasn't on their level, let me just say.
And to be honest, if like we talk about this show, especially like the old girls from both shows,
Mm-hmm.
outside like the new girls before like OG and Kristen and them got there, I feel like
Yep.
they have a lot more respect for Evelyn.
Yep, I
Not,
agree,
uh,
because she was the one that shined the brightest. She was there the longest, and
yeah,
in fact the whole idea was built around her in
her, yeah,
Miami. Her and Shawnee were real friends. She had that idea. She asked Evelyn the same thing that was asked of Brandy, if she had friends. And so they brought Jen on there. She was her real friend.
right,
And then they just added some other people. But I mean, what made that show, like we said, more than once, more relatable, was that Jennifer and Evelyn did have a real friendship.
right. And I think that that's even bigger for like the LA cast because they started off with no real friends besides Gloria
Yeah,
and her sister.
that's right.
So, but even that could even outshine anything. Like for me, and this is my own personal opinion, season one wasn't that great. It was just
Yeah, it
the only
wasn't
thing
like.
I can really remember from that season was Malaysia fighting the Govan girl.
Right. But you have to understand, like I just said this earlier, the reason why it wasn't so great is because we weren't invested in them. We were
Right.
invested in the Miami girls. We
Right.
didn't know those ladies. So we had to kind of get to know them, you know.
Tori says, so Deb, reach out to Dre and see if you can get an interview. That would be so dope. You are a great interviewer, better to me than Mr. Carlos.
Yes.
Listen, if she would, I'll definitely reach out, but I doubt that she's doing interviews, especially about basketball wives.
Right.
But I mean, I definitely will reach out. I've been reaching out to them all season, so we'll see what we can do. But I'm definitely down for it. I would love to talk to Drea.
Yes, and in all honesty, I agree with you, Toria. That's an excellent point. I said this before, like I never really had to sit down and listen to Carlos until you started sending me some of the interviews, and I was just kind of like, I don't like him, like just the forced fake laughter, all of those, ridiculous flowers didn't even seem genuine that he was giving Jackie, and she was just eating it up like it was, yes. And, oh, I appreciate it. Thank you. And I'm like,
I'll say this. I do think that Carlos is a great interviewer. I think that Carlos just like he gives what he has to give. Because for me, I think he would trash all of them for Jennifer if he really was being honest. Because that's his friend. So I feel like Carlos really doesn't give a damn, but because of who he is. And I believe that Jackie kind of pointed this out about him like having a balance between his friendships and like being a producer on shows or things like that. Going on ranting. But yeah, so I think that that's really what it is. I think like Carlos tries to take his personal friendships out of the conversation.
Outside of that, yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like that's why it make him all fake. But to be honest, I just feel like he's probably like, you lying. Like Jennifer told me everything already. Like I just feel like he knows way more, and so when he does interviews, sometimes it may not come off authentic because he kind of already knows. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it doesn't come off authentic. Like I said, he's loud. He's kind of corny. He's over the top. But again, he's not talent. Nobody can take his. I'm not trying to take his production and producing skills away. And that seems to be what he's good at. But as far as being talent and and the same is true for Andy Cohen. You're not a real broadcaster. You're not that you didn't go to school for this. And when they're sitting there in interviews, it does come across that they're being catty and messy, both of them.
But I can respect Carlos because he does it on YouTube. Andy Cohen does it on the network. So that's very different. We're messy over here on YouTube. So
yes, exactly.
It does make a big difference for Carlos. And even when he's doing his podcast, like it's not on national television. So I'm allowed because there's rules on television. So I'm not
more lenient
and do these things because I'm gonna get flagged for those things. So I definitely I get Carlos.
Okay.
Carlos says that she's a force multiplier. She remembers him saying that she remembers him saying that she wasn't one. But basically, he was referring to the Miami girls. He says that when Tammy, Evelyn, and Shawnee left, that's who he was talking about. But she's the LA queen.
I felt like that was one of the fakest exchanges.
I did too. I'm sorry.
In the whole interview. I'm sorry.
Even in my notes, the side eye.
Exactly.
I did because I mean, to be honest, again, for me, a queen of LA, I would give it to Malaysia.
Yeah.
To be honest, I would give it, and the reason why is because the things that people are saying about the friendships, like I have to give it to Brandy and Malaysia because those were the people that I remember the most. But Malaysia was just way more memorable. She begged to be Drea and Malaysia's friend the entire time. I mean, even if you go to Malaysia, Drea would be the queen of that show.
Yeah, I agree.
So Jackie kind of fell into it because she begged to be their friends for so long. And
I'm not trying to, make it an ageist comment, but also the fact is she's so much older. So it kind of like I think the younger women kind of give her,
I think around the time the show had started, like weren't her and I think Jennifer were around the same age, right?
They are, but but look at Jennifer and look at her. You know what I mean? And again, in the beginning, Jen was not on the show. I'm talking about her, Drea, Like she's so much older than
Yeah,
those
like their
ladies.
cast was very younger.
Yes, very
Yeah,
much
I got
younger.
you. I got
Whereas Miami was closer to Jackie's age. Evelyn,
you. Yeah,
Jennifer, you know, those ladies.
yeah.
So that's all I meant.
Good point, Cindy. Good point. Good
Yeah.
point. Tori says, Queen of Lies. And what's going on, Pink Dynamite?
Hey, Pink
It was a
Dynamite.
setup to cause confusion. And it was. He said that it was her show. Jackie loves. I mean, she's
she loves that. Yeah.
Jackie. She's like, keep the party. Like she loves all that stuff. And I'm
Yes.
just sitting here like, where is the real moment with Jackie though?
Yes. And
Like
that's
at
what I
some
was
point, can
saying.
we get a real part of Jackie?
Just that whole exchange that seemed like it went on far longer than it needed to
Yeah.
seemed the fakest
He
bit
was like,
of it
"You a
all.
queen? Ooh, you are, you
Mhm.
are, you are a matriarch." I know, like, I mean, it was just like
Right.
it was way too much.
Way too much. And that's why I was just like,
I love you, Jackie, but it was a lot.
and also, you know, I don't love you, Carlos, but stand down a little bit. Like the thing that he was complaining about with Brandy, that's what he's kind of was doing with Jackie to me. Like, you don't need to be all up in the business. Just say
You
what
know,
you
my
got to
notes got
say.
hard with the Brandy part.
Oh,
And I'm gonna just be so honest.
oh,
And I mean, you gonna have to escape. You gonna have to go whatever you got to say for that. Do your thing because
okay.
the Brandy part for me was very hard to hear.
Okay.
And
Even
I'll
though
tell
I,
you why. And I
even though,
actually say why
but so Des,
afterward.
let me just ask you really quickly though. Even though I
Mhm.
was saying the exact same, hey princess, even though I was saying the exact same thing the whole season.
I feel like what Jackie was saying to him was not what he was hearing, though. Like he's not on the show; she's on the show. And
Right.
but in Jackie's reasonings, and like I hate to really skip down, but Jackie's reasonings were because basically she was calling her out on her shit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably annoying to Jackie. But those
Yes.
one thing that Jackie
But
said
but
were to her.
yeah, but she was only talking about it from her perspective, and I know that he did direct the question to her.
Mhm.
But what his criticisms were, he was just like, "I love her. I think she's beautiful," but
And then he like ran her ass down.
but he
But
was saying the
let's
same.
wait till we get there.
Okay, okay,
Let's
okay,
wait
okay,
till we get there. All
okay, okay.
right. He
Yeah.
asked her
So
what was going on in her mind first season after agreeing to the show after Malaysia and Gloria had fought.
mm-hmm,
And she said it didn't change her perspective because she's used to, women butting heads, basically.
mm-hmm.
So it's not a lot to say about that, but I feel like I was glad that Jackie said that.
Yes.
Because I'll say this, people are really hard on Black women shows
Yep.
because the dynamics are very different from white women shows.
Yep. Yep.
Um, me being around a lot of Black women growing up and,
Mm-hmm.
growing up with Black women, like, it's such a love hate and not even a hate, but like a love teachable or I don't know what the word I want to use for like the bad part of it, not the bad part, but like how it works.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not what you're going to see with other nationalities. Well, a lot of other nationalities.
Mm-hmm.
But for me watching the show, I never would turn on and was like, you know what, cancel the show.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like every time like Black women fight or they argue or it's so dramatic for us, like
Mm-hmm.
cancel the show. White people do it all the time. Nobody's saying cancel the show.
Yes.
And I hate that they do that, especially with like, Atlanta and Potomac and
Mm-hmm.
it's like, no, these are just like real wonderful Black women, y'all. Like
Right.
if you have
Exactly.
you never been around Black women before, because I
Right.
mean, even if you had a cast of gay men, like it would be even worse than this.
Yeah.
So for me, I never tune in and be like, oh my God, this is so bad. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's my real gripe with OG with the colorism thing. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
y'all, this Black culture. Like we just talk to each other these ways. It's not because and there are some instances where it's dark skin versus light skin situation.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never seen a franchise where I felt this way. And
Right.
yes, I see that they do have these opportunities to kind of voice that because they experience this in their real lives. But we
Mm-hmm.
watch a television show,
Right.
you know.
Yep. Okay.
So I know I went on a tangent.
No. I was gonna say you said a lot there, and I do want to agree with you on all of it. Yeah, I think let me just wrap up OG just because I like her the least. What
Okay.
you said about OG, and as I really thought about it, and I was talking to I don't want to even go into why I was talking about it. I was talking about we were talking about the upcoming like Juneteenth and stuff.
Hmm.
And so we're doing some planning and stuff like that at my job. And so we were talking about, how we were correcting certain other races that were non-black people, by calling people, everybody, African American.
Hmm.
There are some people that identify as black that are not
Yeah.
African American. They're
Right.
not from America. They
Right.
they're people in the DR that look just as black as people here. There are people that are from Africa that
Right.
are living here now, and that does not mean that they're African American. It means that they're Africans in America.
Right. Right.
So
Right. Right.
I
Right.
feel
Very
I
true.
feel and I feel like with OG in her case, um, she was really relating as an African in America. And so
That's a
she
really
took
good point, Cindy.
and so it clicked when I was just having this conversation a couple of days ago, and I forgot to mention it to you. I really feel like, so when she's talking about colorism, she's talking about it from a different perspective than somebody who was born and raised here and
Right.
doesn't, like she was really big on her culture, which she should be, and it's a beautiful culture. And
Right.
of course we all come from that, but when I think of African American, I think of somebody that was born and raised here,
Right.
and so she has a different perspective. So I think she was coming from it different. Okay, so that's OG.
And
Um,
to even piggyback onto what you're saying, that makes a
mhm.
lot of sense too, because she actually talked about like the features.
Yep.
As an African American, we have different features. Period.
Yes, because we're all mixed up by this point.
Right. So like
You
we're
know.
not from Africa. Our hair. I mean, we are from Africa. Like our roots are from there, but we're
Hmm.
also mixed with a lot of other different,
Yes,
nationalities. So her fight wasn't wrong. It was just like it was wrong for
it
the
was
show
misplaced.
because it was messed up because she was trying to fault them for having features that African Americans had, and she's not
Yes,
American. Yeah,
exactly.
so that
And
makes
so,
sense.
and yeah, and so that's why I was just like, I need to bring this up with SoDeb. So that was my point there.
I
And
love that. I love that point.
yeah, and and I feel like, although I don't watch the other, what is it called with Giselle and the other people? What's the name of the show?
Say it again.
With Giselle and those other
Oh,
ladies?
Russell Potomac.
Potomac, yes. There's another woman on there too, beautiful, and beautiful skin, just beautiful. I'm curious, because I know that it came up, in some of the blogs and stuff at the end of their season. They had to address colorism too.
It's about
Um,
Wendy.
okay,
She's
Wendy.
Nigerian.
Oh, okay. See, okay. So see, she also shared a similar view as OG, but she did not handle it the way that OG did. You know what I mean? I think that she was more kind of used to being in our culture a little bit longer than
Right.
OG actually was. So
And
again,
then it also gave a conversation. I know you don't watch the show, but it also gave a conversation for Candace, who is African American,
uh-huh.
to talk about her dark skin, which darker skinned women do have an issue here in the United
Yeah. I mean,
States.
look at my
There
skin.
is a light skin privilege that happens, but
Yes, it does.
what was happening on Basketball Wives and even on this show, like that wasn't a conversation for reality television.
Right,
It's a
right.
documentary series for people to understand the difference. And then
Mm-hmm.
also your points that you made today make it even more potent because we
Yep.
come in so many different shades and nationalities. And I mean, just because we are dark skinned, are black people, period,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean we're African American people.
Yep.
So that does add to that as well. So that makes it even when even on this season, which is not part of this, real quick,
Mm-hmm.
the season where Kristen in Malaysia was like, well, we're dark, we're brown,
Mm-hmm.
we're dark skinned women. They were like, she was like, but then your features, okay, now
Right.
we like, it was moving, and
In
this
a
is what
in
I
a
hated about it, and I'm glad that you even said it because I think this is what I was trying to say more, like
Mm-hmm.
it's like, yeah, but I mean, we're black though, you know what I'm saying, like.
Right.
I can't help that I have African American features. You have African features. Like that
Right.
is a thing that's something very different. And
Mm-hmm.
again, with that story, it was more like she just had a bad attitude and nobody liked her.
Yep.
She
Right.
was a mean person.
And
And
she did.
I'm
And
not
she
saying
did
she was
come
mean
up.
because she was dark skinned or she raised her voice. She
Right.
destroyed a freaking family on the show. Like
Yes.
it wasn't like she didn't do anything. So I
Right.
understood the reason why they didn't like OG, and then that was Malaysia's family. So there
Yeah.
was a lot that was going on there that I feel like people kind of missed or went over because OG was calling colorism.
Right, exactly. And like I said, her perspective is going to be completely different from somebody who was born and raised here. And that's just what it is.
Right.
That's just that. I do want to also, before, because I don't want to forget when you're saying, and I was going to say basically part of what Pink Dynamite is saying below, is that we
Well, let
already
me
have,
read it quickly and then respond. So he
okay,
said, Black women are already being depicted as aggressive. This only confirmed for those who paint the picture that's who
that's
we
who we
are.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so part of that is, me being, a Black woman. I have also, I mean, obviously experienced people being surprised that, I mean, growing up with people, including family, saying, "You sound white." And I was just like, because I'm speaking, "Hey, Norris," because I'm speaking proper English, or what do you mean? You know what I mean? I'm like, what does sound white mean? Or if I get upset or I'm passionate about something, I could be stereotyped as the angry Black woman. No, I'm just passionate about what I'm speaking about. Or yes, I'm upset. And I don't think, not, I don't think, I refuse to apologize, because this is how I was happened to be born. And I actually have a mind of my own. I have feelings like everyone else, and we should be able to express them. I mean, and Nene actually made a good point on when she was talking about, you know, race in on Roja, is that, she showed so many examples of the other women with with the white women on their shows, flipping tables over, doing all kinds of horrible,
Very true.
behavior, and they never got fired, they never got reprimanded, any of that.
Very
So I don't feel like, I feel like you said, what you said earlier at the very beginning was correct. It's like women being women,
true.
like it's hard. Like, I mean, I was in the music business for
America can't judge that. You know what I'm saying? Like only
exactly,
Black women can really judge that. And
exactly,
like we can talk about it, we can have our opinions on it, but like having that whole campaign about colorism on a
right.
reality television show of a cast full of women,
Hmm.
the way that certain women on the show feel versus other women, it's a battle, a long life battle. Like, I mean, to be honest, but
Hmm.
also it's when we're watching these shows, like it's that's not what we've grown up on when it comes
Yes,
to these conversations. It's just like we just don't like you because you're a bitch, or like
you're a bitch.
yeah,
Yeah.
like that's really what it is. It don't go that deep. Like I don't like you because
Exactly.
you're black, like or you're dark skinned. You're
Right.
just a bitch. Like I don't like you.
Right.
Toria asked this, and I know Toria has to go, so I want to ask this really quick. She said, "I will catch the rest on the replay." She said, "Love you both, but I have to get
Aw.
to my
Get my
robot
robot
out
out
of
of
the
the pool.
pool." What question do you think that OG handled the color? And we just talked about this, so yes, I think she did.
Yeah, I think so too. And
I
again,
think
like
we've been agreeing on this one.
yes. Oh, Pink Dynamite said it too.
Yes, she did have a bad attitude. Her ugliness came from within. Yeah, it had
Thank
nothing to do with her skin
you.
color. And
Yep.
Toria says, I think she could have handled it wrong. They just did not like her. She was mean and hateful,
Yes.
ruined their family. Yep, I
Yep.
just did this. And Oval, what's going on, Oval, at the meeting? And she says, actions makes you ugly, regardless of the skin tone. Exactly.
Thank you. Absolutely. And we just basically said that. We said that,
Yeah,
many times before as well too. It's like,
we always say that. So,
yeah, it's like, there are certain people that are the villains of a show and know how to do that right. Evelyn is one of those people.
yeah,
She knows how to play her part. She knows that she can come across a quote unquote aggressive.
yeah,
And that has nothing to do with, what her skin tone is or whatever, but she also has those fun parts where she can go and talk about, fashions and get cocktails and laugh when it needs to
right.
be, like, I mean, like her laughing at OG because her toes were hanging over her shoes. It's funny. It had
It was
nothing to,
fun. It was fun.
yeah, it had nothing to do with
When she
OG.
called her Toji, I died.
Exactly.
And I'll say this to even put out a bigger picture of this though. Look at Housewives of Atlanta. We don't have different skin tones, right?
Yep.
They're
Yep.
all basically like the same color. I mean,
Brown color.
they're
Mm-hmm.
just brown girls, right?
Mm-hmm.
The actions are not no different than any other shows we watch.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
Portia been fighting over there. She been knocking bitches
Yep.
out. She been over there. You
Yep.
know.
I mean,
So
we
we
even
can't
we
sit
even
here,
had
and
we
this is
even
why
had
I point this out, because you can't sit here and say this is colorism or people get
right.
treated better, because when you watch Real Housewives of Atlanta, they're all the same, like closely
Yes.
the same skin tone.
Yep.
And they have been like bashing it out, doing their thing. But
Right.
it's never been, you can't call colorism, so you call it favoritism, or like it's always an excuse for a
It's always
word.
like featureism or
Yeah.
something,
You can't even say
something
featureism on the show
else.
though, because they all are just
Yep.
brown skinned women from
Yep.
America. There's no Nigerians, there's
Right.
it's just African American women. So
Right.
you miss that battle on that show. And I
Yep.
think when they do mix up people, then you can't come onto a show where we've been watching. I mean, well, basketball wise, we've been watching shit since it started.
Yes.
You call it colorism. Like it doesn't make sense.
Exactly. And this, and okay, and if we're really going to focus on this, and then we can move on. I don't want to belabor, but it is an important conversation. I
Yeah.
mean, if we're going to say, that the lighter skinned women got favoritism, then why didn't Gloria and Laura get better favoritism?
Good point, Cindy.
Ding ding ding. I'm
Or
just
Susie.
saying. Or Susie.
She was a white woman. So.
Thank you. So what is the
Or
problem?
Keisha.
Or Keisha. I mean, and she was light skinned Keisha before the real light skinned Keisha came out now. Okay.
Keisha didn't have the bob.
Exactly. So I mean, so
good
again,
points.
yeah, I really that's why as a viewer I was just I took offense to that, because I was just like, you know what, it's not about that. We just don't like you, girl. We don't like you. That
no
was
one looked at her and was
it.
like, oh, I hate that dark skinned girl.
It wasn't like that.
Like, no one looked at her and said that. So
no,
it was just a narrative that I did not like. But I do want to comment on what Pete Dynamite said, because they did keep showing that toe.
Yeah.
That toe it was almost like British's ankle monitor. Like,
yes.
It was a castmate at the time.
Because it was a key from the moment that, and again, see that also shows that that force multiplier being Evelyn, because we remember those things, we relate to them, we could laugh at them. Like who else would come up with Toji? Jackie didn't come up with it. Like.
You know what else I will never forget from that season is when Odie's wig was sliding back.
Yes.
And Melissa was like, was like, your wig is sliding back. I see it.
Exactly.
Like it wasn't a color thing.
It wasn't a color.
He just looked a mess.
But they did that to all the women, including Tammy. And Tammy is a force. Yeah, Tammy is a force multiplier. Yeah, but Tammy also, did start to get herself together. Like all the girls kind of get that same judgment and that same ribbing. They check you out and see what you have to give.
Right.
And if it's funny, they're gonna make fun of you. Period.
Right. And Val, the comedian, says, if your toe hanging off over the front of your shoe, I'm gonna talk about it. We all can talk about it. So.
Thank you.
Stop making your toe the excuse for colorism.
Exactly. She did look a mess, but
your wigs were a mess, your clothes were a mess. Even Tammy talked about the swimsuit that but the swimsuit when she made, her boobs was like this.
Right.
It was a mess.
It was a mess. But they did that with all the girls. Like they poor Royce, they relentlessly talked about her hair and her clothes. But she stayed on for like what, 4 or 5 seasons?
And looked a mess all 5 seasons.
Yes, and looked a mess the whole time.
It was exactly. And so yes, even on Potomac, Karen had really bad wigs. She did.
Really?
But Karen looks amazing now.
That's an older woman, right?
She was on there, her wigs were a mess. She had drunk wigs. She was shifting the wigs, making fun of the
drunk wigs.
That though. And see, that's the thing, like, have fun.
Yes. Don't take it so seriously.
Karen had a wig, it was shifting. It reminds me of that scene when Malaysia.
Yeah.
She was like, your wig is like, she's like, no, your wig is like, she's like, no, your wig is like, I see it. It's like, I can never forget that part.
Right.
But Karen's wig was sliding off, and Karen was like,
oh no.
Wait, hold, like, but she just
Oh
made fun of it
no.
though. You know,
Yeah.
so
And you don't, but that's what these shows are supposed to be about. And I think that that's what I said, that I just don't think that OG really understood how to be on reality TV, so oh Val.
it really was though.
Yes.
Really,
It really was. Yeah. And I mean, most of the women know to not take it so personally. And
right,
most of the time, like I said, if they're not real friends before they get on the show,
right,
they shoot their scenes and they are coworkers. So it's kind of like, even if I went to work and saw a coworker that looked toe up, which I have in the past, you know it's still going to be just as funny. So
you gonna laugh at behind the scenes, but you gonna laugh at
exactly. So that's what I feel about that. And
it.
I
Sorry, I'm
don't
getting off track, but
I know I was going to say,
look,
I don't how to it went, and it was important, it was well needed, because those
absolutely.
things need to be pointed out, because it's like, we have to really think about it for the big picture, like, is this good for the show, and it just really wasn't,
Or
and
for
it
any of
wasn't.
our black shows, like stop trying to cancel them because
Yes.
you just not watching.
Because or because people get into arguments. Now there are certain times where people do cross the line, and I'm just kind of, it's kind of cringeworthy. But like
Mhm.
I said, I don't really watch the other franchises with the, New Yorks and all those other ladies on there. I just
Oh yeah,
have no interest. But I feel like
but
they
they
have
fight
done.
on those shows though.
Yeah, but I was going to say, but I have seen clips of them doing stuff that are much
They flip
worse.
tables, they fight. I mean, they
Yeah.
all been going to jail for numerous amounts of things.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
Throwing alcohol on each other, all
but white
kinds of
folks are
stuff.
not like cancel them, cancel the show. They're
Right.
never saying that.
Because they're not perceived as aggressive or
Yeah,
angry. And that's not the truth. They act like women are catty. And what I was going to say
but
earlier was
that's
that,
what I'm looking for, cat.
okay, that's the word you're looking for. Yeah. That's just what it is. Like I was going to say earlier, I worked in the music industry for a bit, and that's why it was so hard for girl groups to stay together. They
Yeah.
I mean, look at Escape Now, what they're still experiencing.
Well,
They've
now
been
they're
together
done
for,
with it now though.
I know, but what I was saying, they had been together for 30 years. It was just until this year that they finally kind of, you
Because
know,
they got rid of the poison in the group, and you can't say it was a light skinned one because it was
yes,
still in the group. But you know,
absolutely.
it was no colorism. It was just the fact that
It
there
was
was
just
a
the
bad
fact that
apple
she
in the
was
group.
a bad apple. Yep,
Yeah,
that's right.
period.
Period. Yep.
So
So anyway, I mean,
back to Jackie.
let's get back to Jackie. What was that? How did that lead into that? Did Carlos ask her about OG?
Uh, we were talking about the last question was, did it change your perspective after Malaysia and Gloria
Ah,
fought? That's
that's right.
uh, that's
Okay.
how we got to the conversation about black women on television.
Right. Got it.
So then Carlos asked, "Who is Jackie in scene?" He asked if in scene, if she's boring, basically does she turn on?
Mm-hmm.
She says, "No. What you see is what you get." She says the ladies have secret vendettas against her, so she's reacting in real time. She's a wild child, and she's always been that way. Now,
I don't believe you, Mrs.
I don't
Christie.
believe any of this. I'm sorry.
I'm like, ma'am, now it may be that you have had too much to drink and you can't remember
Mhm.
what's happening.
'Cause that's only when that's when she turns up when she drunk.
Yes. And that's what I wanted to comment before we even started, getting to the actual interview. What did you think about the dark shades and the huge glass of wine? I was just like, what's going on? Why can't you just sit through one interview without
Without those shades on.
those shades on? She just looked like she was hiding in the witness protection program or
And remember,
something.
he actually asked her to take them off, and she was like, "My husband
No.
wants these to Versace or something like that." Like,
Right. And she said they're Gucci, but
oh,
she
Gucci,
also
yeah. I'm like,
yeah, but
nobody really cares. Like, we want to
nobody
see,
cares.
yeah,
It was just another opportunity for her to say my husband. Girl, we know.
basically.
But basically he was saying, he said, what's going on with the shades? Before she even blurted out that the Doug had given her Gucci
Yeah.
sunglasses, she said that she was filming. That's another thing. I meant to look up on, IMDb to see
Don't
what
waste
are
your
your
time. Don't
credits.
waste your time, Sydney.
Okay, because I was like,
There's
what are your
nothing to look up.
credits? What do you mean you've been filming and you were in production all day? What are her credits and what is her experience in production that she makes it seem like she is in charge of all these
Well, remember, she
shows?
was saying earlier that her daughter and her was work. Like she keeps going on about these production credits,
Yeah.
but it's like, what are like? Tell us what they
What
are.
are they? What are they? Yeah.
Because if you had them, we know
What
you
are
would
they?
tell us what they are.
And also, if you had them, we would have known you before you got on Basketball Wives. Hello. I'm just saying we knew about the other women. We knew their credits. So what are your credentials, ma'am? And if you can't call them up, then stop talking about it.
We could track Tammy's entire career.
Thank you.
We
Hello.
cannot track Jackie.
No, we
We
can't.
can track Shawnee's full life,
Yep.
Evelyn's life,
Yep.
actually Malaysia and Brandy's life. We can track all of it.
Yep.
We can't track Jackie's life. And she
No.
come on these productions, I don't feel like they come on saying stuff that never really happened.
Exactly. And
So
we could even track Doug's life more than hers in his career, what he has done and accomplished. What are hers, other than being married to him?
hey D staff, why do you want to randomly clothesline someone?
I don't know what that means. What's
I
that?
don't know either, but I don't know.
Is that like a body slam or a wrestling move? Or
Clothesline me,
something?
I'll put my arm out and you run into it and then you get clothesline.
Oh no. Maybe he's talking about Mrs. Christie. Who knows?
Maybe.
Yeah.
The next part was she thinks the ladies wait till they get in front of everyone to decide to confront her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, isn't that what the show's about?
I think so. Yeah. And that's why I did. I mean, that whole answer, I didn't believe her because I feel like we have seen her go from like 100, like 1 to 100 in, in the split. And it's almost like they've had talks with production, being like, this girl has it out for her. And it's so interesting. Like I said, the delusions of grandeur that she feels like she's always being set up. Like they have something, like she said, like you said earlier, and this is what she actually said, like they have a vendetta against her. Malaysia didn't have a vendetta against that woman.
Never.
Like Jennifer didn't have a vendetta against her from this season. So I'm like, what are you talking about?
I mean, literally, like before the Miami girls got there, every season started out with them making up with Jackie.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
every season, it was
Yep.
Drea to Malaysia to Brandy.
Yeah.
Like every season they were trying to make up with Jackie because Jackie did some bullshit at the end of the season.
Yep.
So it's like she did. I think she was like swapping the stories around for some reason.
I think so. I think she sees herself in some of the other women's position rather than what her behavior was. I don't know.
Give me that
I don't believe her. I feel like she has been doing this long enough to know. I don't feel like that is the real her because when we saw her at home with Doug, she wasn't acting like that.
Or she will never around Doug.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that Bazaar. What is that Bazaar called? Do you remember what it's called?
I don't.
I think it's the Bazaar.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So then Carlos asked her about Angel Brink's party when Sunday was there.
Right.
The dress was tight. She wanted the tight dress, but she's claustrophobic. She went into description about Angel's dresses and how like they have to fit all that stuff, and she wanted it. But she said no one couldn't get the dress off of her. So she panicked, and Angel Love comes in smirking, and they had just had words. So she thought that she was coming in to attack her, Jackie Live.
Right.
She took off her shoes. She wanted the dress off because if she was attacked, if she was going to be attacked by her, she was having
wanted the dress off
moment, and it wouldn't be pretty. The real reason why Jackie was upset was because her Bazaar was on the floor.
That's right. And that's what started the whole thing. That's what set her off. She wasn't mad at those women. That she started to get mad at them when they kept trying to calm her down.
Yes.
What was really
angry was mad
about
the dress at the very beginning, but when that Bazaar was on the floor, she had a full issue.
She had a full meltdown. She was like, I gifted it to Angel for her party. And that was what she was arguing about for the majority of the time. And then she got to the dress, so, and she said she did want it tight around her collar. She said that also
she wanted a mermaid dress. She told Angel everything she wanted.
And she said, she wanted it tight, but it was too tight. And she goes, at that time, she was 15 pounds heavier.
She
And I'm
did say
like,
that.
Jackie, I mean, she was given every
But before
excuse.
you went back down to the ballroom, why did you?
Hmm.
She said she had another dress on that season too. By the way,
Yeah,
why did you just put your other dress on?
because she said she couldn't get out of the other dress to go put that one on.
When she zipped that dress up, it should have been zipped right back down.
Yes.
Period.
You know when something is uncomfortable and you don't feel right in it and all of that. And again, I find it interesting that she said when, she's claustrophobic. So why would you want something around your neck?
Right.
Why would you want it around your neck? You know that it's going to be tight because that's all of Angel's clothes.
Right.
Like she Angel wears what she actually designs.
And she
So
admitted that too. So,
yes, she said that she gave her what she wanted, basically.
yeah.
But like you said, so Deb, the truth of it is that she was mad that her booze were on the floor.
Yep.
And she felt
And
like,
even at the bar, remember she went to the bar. It wasn't at the bar.
It didn't have. They didn't have it. Yep.
Yeah. She was upset about that part. That was what she was mad about.
Yes.
And this is why I feel like Jackie was not being real in this interview. This is why I kind of like really kind of checked out. Yeah. Because I'm like, Jackie's not telling the truth.
No, she's not. And again, we can understand if you did donate something that is your baby and it's your product and you want to highlight it, but her behavior, her reaction to that was completely crazy town. Like I just feel like
the right word.
yeah, and I feel like Carlos was right. She was even trying to fight Sunday at one point. Like she just
no, she wasn't trying to fight Sunday.
She was trying to fight Sunday because she kept trying to ask Sunday to take the dress off, and Sunday's like, "Well, stop. Let me try to take it off." And she just was like, "Take it off. Take it off." And then so she was like,
okay.
"Get up." Yeah,
I didn't connect that to a fight, but okay.
No, she pushed her all the way. Remember, she had
pushed. She went there because she ran over like Angel Brink's people or something like that in the dress. So
yes,
I didn't feel like she was trying to fight her out there. Like Jackie was like just unhinged at this point.
She was unhinged, but I saw some hands moving towards Sunday. Now maybe she didn't remember it because once again maybe she had one too many sips of her Brassard, but I remember that clearly because I was like, isn't that her friend? And I was like, and also why is Sunday back? I was annoyed.
I know. I was so confused why Sunday was there.
Yes.
I was so confused.
Yes.
Let me go ahead and let's take a break and play my commercial real quick for my students, and then we'll come right back.
Sounds good.
All right. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy SoDebNair, and I'm here to talk to you guys about something that I think is so fantastic. Remain Teachable, one of my subscribers, is graduating on July the 23rd, and she came up with something I think is so amazing and something that is going to help my students out so much. We are trying to raise $723. This $723 will go to my students' uniforms for the 2023-2024 school year. So what we're asking is that you donate $7.23. If we can reach this, it would be so amazing. It'd be so helpful for my students to get uniforms because some kids only have one polo, one pair of pants, and thought this was so amazing. And I'm so excited about this. We already have donations already, but I'm hoping that you guys help us reach this goal by July the 23rd. So again, you can log on to SoDebNair.com, drop that $7.23, and we will make sure that you guys get to find out their end results by July the 23rd. Thank you so much in advance, and let's do it. All right? I'm out, y'all. Bye. So I did tally it up last night. We are at $615.
That's amazing. You're almost there.
So we're really almost there for real.
Right. Because you're trying to get 723, right?
Yeah, 723. So we're at $615 right now.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
So shout out to everyone who has already been donating. You guys can definitely at this point, I probably didn't change the commercial, but CashApp, because we're going to miss the deadline.
Right.
You guys do super chat, but you guys want to, you can cash at me at the $ SoDebNair.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Yes. We're going to make it. I already know.
Yeah.
Okay, so our next part is she gets outside from after that party, she got outside. She finally sees she needed some air, and she sees Angel Brinks. And then they have their moment when she's about to.
Yeah.
Angel breaks in the face.
And Angel's trying to get into her event and her show, and this crazy woman that's wrapped in a towel by this point with her bra showing, her hair's crazy. She's, having a full meltdown, yelling at her, and she was just like, I apologize. She's my baby, and I'll never do that again. She said that like 4 or 5 times for all of her crazy shenanigans.
She said
right?
that towards everybody who Carlos asked her about.
Yep. And it's just kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I was like, okay, Jackie. I mean,
okay, Jackie.
Just give it to us.
Right. And I was annoyed too that Carlos had the nerves to call it an iconic moment. That was not an iconic moment.
Well, I mean, for reality television, it was an iconic moment.
Not really.
It really was. I mean, Jackie trying to get out that dress was iconic. It really was.
You think so?
It was for me. I know it was for me. Like, that was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my God, that to me was such an embarrassment. You know what I mean? And that's what I was saying.
She said she was embarrassed though, but
for
a reality television show moment, it was iconic. Like, she was like, and I guess if she's telling the truth about her being claustrophobic and the dress, which for me, I'm like, why did you even continue to wear the dress?
I agree.
I don't get that part. But if let's say that that's true, I do feel sad for her. But outside of that, it was iconic because she was like rolling for people.
Yes, and I mean, as someone that does
dress off. I mean, Sunday was trying to fight people. It was just a lot going on.
Yeah,
so for a basketball wife moment like that was a moment that I would never forget.
I will never forget it, but not for good reasons. Like I said,
I think that they have a lot of moments that are positive that we
yeah, and in all actuality, the dress was pretty, I will say.
Yeah.
Now, she may not have liked it and may not have fit on her the way that she wanted it to, but it's not like Jackie has a lot of style, and that dress was a nice look. But whatever. I feel like when you asked earlier and Carlos asked, would it be a basketball wives without Jackie, and I'm like, yeah, it would be, because I feel like she was older then. The older she gets, and having those kinds of outbursts and shenanigans go on, it's just less and less. It's more and more cringe worthy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would rather start,
especially because like we're expecting them every season now.
Yes,
like, it's not like it's organic. Like we expect Jackie to have some crazy moment.
Some moment like that.
Like her taking them on a trip and then they're in the desert.
Yes.
Being upset about them being in the desert, and then Brooke's mad at her. Like, at some point we knew something that Wacky Jackie was going to do. She was going to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, exactly. I mean,
I think that we could actually do without that.
I think we really should do without that.
I think the only thing that I would really miss though is her weddings.
Really?
I love Jackie's weddings, to be honest.
Wow, I do not agree.
I just think that it's something that people who are like in their mirrors, like they do this every year. Like, I enjoy seeing that. I love love, so I enjoy that.
Okay. Well, I mean, look, I'm sure you're not the only one. I can do without it. I don't need to see like older people doing all that. Like, I feel like, enjoy your life, live your life. And I'm not saying don't get married every year if that's what you want to do. I'm just saying, as an audience member, I don't want to keep seeing it. I really don't.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
And then I think the next part, when she was just saying that she wasn't pretending during that episode, she had a serious moment and people thought it was crazy. So
it was.
We get into the Brooke Bailey fight.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm gonna just read my notes and let's get into this.
Okay.
This is another part where I don't believe Jackie.
Me too.
I'm sorry.
So damn, I don't believe her.
So she said that she never got beat up.
I feel like when she said
Brooke
that, that's a lie.
Say it again.
That's a lie.
Yeah, she said that she felt like Brooke was coming at her because of her in Malaysia, but that's not true because she told her that if she fought Drea, she would peel her off her.
Yep.
So it had nothing to do with Malaysia.
No.
Because I remember, word for word, I remember the shit. I will peel you off her. So
Yes,
that's not
because
true.
Dre, Brooke came on as a friend of Drea's.
Yes. I don't know what Malaysia had to do with that.
Nothing. I
So
think she just got confused.
yeah. Then she
Hmm.
said Brooke came in her space and she lost it. Jackie, she said she threw the first punch. It was very bad. She cried hard after their fight. She reached out after because she felt bad. She thought Brooke came at her because she was the leading person on the show. I'm like, who thought that? Did Brooke get beat up? I don't think Brooke got beat up. Do you?
No, she didn't.
Okay.
No.
And we can move.
And what I know from Brooke, and I don't know her that well, what I know from her, if she had, she would have said so.
She would have said it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that
She
her
would
and
have.
Jackie would have had a relationship afterwards either.
I agree.
She said production told her she can't have any more fights. She
Yep.
told them if any bit steps in her face, it's going to be worse the next time. That makes me know that Brooke beat her up. And then she told
Exactly.
the production to explain to all the women that were there who comes for her that she don't try her. She said tell them to stay in their space, you're staying in her space. Now,
I don't believe her.
there's nothing in me that believes that Jackie won that fight. I'm sorry.
No, absolutely nothing.
Brooke looked unscathed.
She
And
looked the
she looked like
same.
she had been through a windstorm.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. She looked the same. Brooke looked beautiful before and after.
And after,
Okay.
yes.
The
So,
hair, her hair was in place. Jackie was the one that looked like she was drugged, literally.
did Carlos, and I know we're going to get here, but did Carlos ask her, Brooke, about this?
I don't think he did.
Okay.
No, because I think it was so much more focused on her personal life. You know, like he didn't talk to Brooke as much about the show as he did with Jackie,
Okay.
Brandy, and Jennifer. Mm-hmm. And it could be too that because Brooke hadn't been on there very long.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because Carlos, and that's another thing with Carlos, is that he was asking questions all the way back from years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it was hard for them to kind of even recall, like the stuff with Jen. He was just like, "What were you thinking in that moment?" You
yeah.
know. So it's hard for me to recall what happened, 7 years ago, how I was feeling about something. So I think that was one of those cases as well.
Now, was Brooke next or was Brandy next in the interviews?
It was
I think it was Brooke, right?
it was Brooke. I think Brandy was last.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, wait a minute. Or was Brooke last? Because they did get into this stuff about her daughter, and we didn't find that out until at the reunion. Like Jackie
and
and
that's why I feel like Brandy was next, so maybe we should do them in order. I don't know.
no, I think we should say Brandy for last because she was the one that had the most tea.
So really, you said it, not me. But okay.
That's what I told you. I told you. I said maybe we should start with her because she really did have the most tea.
Yeah. Okay. So it says production told her she can't have any more. Oh, I read this part already. They asked, did Brooke get kicked off because of the fight with Jackie? And Jackie said no. She said they was just trying to they were trying out different girls at the time. Jackie requested to film with Brooke the next day because she felt bad and she wanted to apologize. You have anything for that?
No.
Okay. It says, does she think the women, or does Jackie think the women come on the show thinking if they have a beef with her, they will get airtime and able to hold a basketball in the intro? Jackie says yes, and when she sees them turning up, she warns them, and they still decide to turn the on her.
Because nobody is
That's what
afraid
she
of
said.
Yeah, but it's true. But it's like no, but they do that because nobody's afraid of her. Sorry,
Yeah,
Jack.
nobody's afraid of Jackie.
Nobody's afraid of Jackie.
Like, what are you going to do?
Exactly. And again,
I'll be more afraid of Jennifer because she's going to sue.
right. Exactly. Exactly. Jennifer is definitely not a fighter, but she is lawyered up. Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It says Miami Girls set the stage to have a spin-off When the Miami, this Carlos said the Miami Girls set the stage to have a spinoff. When the Miami Girls came to LA, Jackie made a comment about them coming to their show. When they came to LA, it was a push and pull of who's in charge of the girls. Did Jackie feel that way? Now, I feel like we've talked about this before.
We have, and I'm so
content purposes. Let's talk about it again.
okay. I was going to say I'm more curious to hear your thoughts on that because I feel like you remember a bunch of the friction that was happening with the LA girls versus the Miami girls more than I do, like way more.
Right.
So I think that you're going to have more feedback, but I do recall there being an issue. I remember
it was definitely an issue.
It was an issue,
and
and
Tori,
it
I'm
was.
gonna get to you in a minute, Tori. Give me 1 minute.
And I feel like so I mean I don't feel like it was a huge issue, but I know that there was an issue. But to hear her talking about, no, she said you could go back, and I was like, hey Tammy girl, come on, let's go hang out, let's go hang out. She was like, I wanted those girls to come over. I was like, I was like, let me ask.
I didn't hear what you said.
She, when she was just like, when she saw Tammy for the first time, she was just like, hey Tammy, how are you?
Roman, what?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. She was just like, I was happy that those ladies came over, and I was like,
she actually said it's on this interview too, but I feel like in real time, I guess
that wasn't the case.
That wasn't the case.
Right.
Because they were literally, it felt like there was a scuffle or a battle of who's in charge of the girls, to be honest. And so let's go into this conversation.
Okay.
They took, I don't remember what part was first, but I remember the season. Let's start with the season that Duffy came.
Okay.
So Tammy and Malaysia and Brandy weren't really seeing eye to eye at all. Remember, Brandy and Tammy were going to fight on the beach.
I remember.
Because she thought that they were laughing at them. Well, Malaysia never laughed at them, but then she amped Brandy up to go and basically be upset about it, which they didn't really know what they were laughing at. From what we seen, Tammy was not laughing at them.
They weren't.
Yeah, so from what we seen, that wasn't true. So instead of Tammy saying that, it was like a battle between them. So for me, that first part, I don't think they came in that way.
Yeah.
Shawnee and Tammy.
I don't think so either.
I feel like it was just basically like Shawnee came because before Tammy came, wasn't Tammy there like a season without Tammy? Or did she come like later on in the season? Oh, yeah,
she came on later.
Came later because remember Drea left and Tammy came.
And then Tammy came. That's what happened.
Yes. Okay.
Because they needed another force multiplier because I feel like Drea leaving was a big hit at that time.
And that's when Jackie got Tammy Roman. What? Okay. And Tammy Roman. What? That's what Jackie did.
Yeah.
So Tammy shows up, and I do feel like Tammy and Shawnee were like really downplaying them though.
Yeah, they were, but
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say they were, but they could because they are the OGs. I mean, I'm just saying. It's kind of like
the show is over though. Like, I mean, you're over here with us. Like,
but it wasn't really over for Shawnee because she started the franchise.
But Shawnee wasn't causing these issues until Tammy got there though either.
Right.
She wasn't really
but
there.
that's because they at that time they were friends and they had their own separate kiki. You know what I mean? They had their own separate kiki than the LA girls had.
I think that Jackie was like, listen, whoever are the heads of this, I'm joining this thing.
Right.
I feel like Brandy and Malaysia feel like they were the show, which for me, again, I think I fight this battle all the time. For me, they were the show. So when they did come there, Tammy was calling them kitty cliquish, lesbian. Like Tammy was asking a lot of things, which I really can't be mad at Tammy because when Brandy came, she did the same thing.
Yeah.
So I'm not really mad at that part at all.
What? I can't believe you actually said that you agree with Tammy over Brandy.
Well, I mean, Brandy wasn't really. I don't think Brandy was mad about that. I think she like. I just feel like it was like a part of the downgrading of them for the show for me. So when she asked it, I didn't have an issue with that because I mean these were the rumors that she had heard. And then I think Tammy was said like when she said kitty click, it was like they were like best friends or something like that. She changed it around.
Right.
Um,
But the truth is, yes, they are going to have a different dynamic than the rest of the cast members because they are real, or at that time they were real friends. You know, it's like you have a different language
well,
with your
but hold on,
BFF.
but I mean, and that part is okay. But then it got to the part where Shawnee was saying that they didn't have any substance. They have like baby fights. Like it was like they were tearing them down. And
Okay.
Jackie was kind of like, listen, whoever's going to win the battle,
I want to be on that side. Yeah.
Yes. So Jackie didn't have any fight in this. And I'm not really sure what season that this part. Oh, this was the season after this. So that was the season that not Malaysia, Brandy and Tammy got to on the beach. And Brandy was mad, like, y'all treating us like shit. And Shawnee, you're a bitch. And then she said your services.
Right.
Now the season after this, so let's stick in this phase. For me, yes, I will say that they did come in and really kind of like downplay them. So in the season after this, I believe Evelyn came back. Is that right?
Yes.
So and Evelyn came back like maybe in like the middle, right?
No, I thought she was there from the very beginning because that was when we got Shawnee, Tammy, Evelyn.
Because when Brandy came back the next season, maybe Evelyn came back at the end. That's what it was. Because Brandy was there the entire season. Remember they went on that cabin trip. Shawnee and Brandy had apologized to each other, everything.
I remember the apology. They were outside. I do remember
Evelyn
that.
There?
No.
Okay, so
no.
Brandy had came back after that season. They made up because she was happy that Shawnee had apologized to her. Was that the season that Duffy came?
No.
So
Duffy came on the next season, and it was then Evelyn.
I have to go back and watch that season then because
I was going to say
there's a season that
Evelyn,
I'm really missing. I just remember Brandy coming back that next season after she called Shawnee a bitch and she said thank you for your services.
That wasn't when Duffy came though, because
I get what you're saying, but I'm saying I don't really remember what happened that season though.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
So there's something that I'm missing because I believe that Brandy and Tammy were cool that season, and she was mad at Brandy the next season for bringing Duffy because the season after that, when she was like, I don't want to be around her. Malaysia. It was Malaysia. She got cool with Malaysia. Here it is. Got it. So they went to that. Wait, but Brandy wasn't there though. Something I'm missing in between this, but so I remember the season after this, Brandy wasn't around. And so I remember they had that thing with Bonnie, Jill, Samaya, and that other girl. I can't remember her name. Remember they had that backyard barbecue thing. And Tammy was upset with Malaysia.
Yes, she was.
And she was like, that cigarette, anytime I'm right here. It was a battle between them. And I think that I know at some point Malaysia got invited to something or from Jackie, and then Malaysia was like, I'm never a plus one, I am the one. Like it was all this stuff that was happening. I think that's the season that was Brandy's last season, like being visible on the show. And so for me, going back to this question, because I got way off track, but going back into this question, I do feel like there was a battle between who was in charge of the girls when it came down to Miami and LA.
Right. And so back to, if we take it circle all the way back to Jackie, I feel like there was that battle, but I feel like Carlos had a good point, is that the Miami girls, whether their show was off already or not, Shawnee being the EP and bringing her friends at that time over was what she was trying to do to help those ladies. Now I can understand there being a little bit of hard feelings with the LA girls too, Jackie included, because Carlos said basically what you said was like, we were doing fine without you guys, basically. But the point of the OGs, including Jennifer, is that you wouldn't even be here had it not been for us. So I don't care if you feel like you guys were doing fine in the ratings or whatever. We
Mhm.
still made the show, basically.
I just
So
wish there was some kind of pushback though, because to be honest, Miami wasn't, because they were off the air. And I think that even in this, Jackie was like, they were canceled. She was like, well, they weren't canceled. The show was over. Like she switched it. And,
yep.
and with this, like this is where I kind of get confused with Jackie, because it's like she says something. Jackie will say something and then take it back, but what Jackie said first was right.
Was the right thing. Yeah.
Right. Because they people had canceled them. We know
Yeah.
that, man. They canceled them because of Tammy and Evelyn with the bottle and Keisha. We know that part.
Mm-hmm.
So I think maybe after they brought Tasha Marbury on the season after that, and then also I think was Ultra going to say here too.
It
Was
could
there a
have
break?
been. It
Was
could have
there a
been
break
because
between? No. It was the same thing because Kenya was there. So the same the Jennifer thing, the Keisha thing, and the Kenya thing, and Ocho Cinco all happened in the same season.
yeah.
Because remember, Jennifer was friends with Keisha because Evelyn didn't like her anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So it's coming back to me now. So after that season, we got the next season with Tasha Marbury. It was the worst season they ever had. No
Worse.
one ever even remembers that season. And
No.
after that, we never heard Miami was gone.
And we had
So,
and yeah. Yep, I
so
was
then
gonna say,
after that,
and we had the force multipliers on that season. It still wasn't enough.
yeah, it
It was
wasn't
a
enough.
whole. It was just a
We
bad
had
season.
Tammy, we had Evelyn, and even Tammy came back with that kind of beef with Evelyn. That season, remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And because I forgot what Evelyn had said to her, and I think Tasha Marbury was making fun of her being headbutted. Tammy was mad at her, calling her a bitch. Like it was like a lot. Tammy was about to fight her again,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, they're trying hard right now.
Yeah.
It just didn't seem like a regular season, and so we got a season of them like trying, but then they were gone. And
Mm-hmm.
so then Shawnee ended up over in LA.
Yeah.
And so Shawnee came to LA, and she got like, and this is probably why I feel this way. She kind of like evaluated who was over there. Like
Mm-hmm.
Brandy and Elijah are childish. Jackie's crazy.
Yep.
Uh, I don't know who else was even over there at the time. I remember those three.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was definitely that they were trying to decide who was going to be the first, multipliers on the show.
Yeah.
So going back to the whole entire conversation, basically, y'all, I do feel that way because of how this all went, and then also, I just personally feel like Miami needed LA more than LA needed Miami.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yep. I agree. And that's why I don't feel like, and now maybe Jackie feels that way now, but from what I can recall when it was happening,
I think
they
that's why
were
she's
not.
very cocky about it now.
Yeah, I don't feel like they were thrilled when the Miami women came over.
Yeah.
That's the long and short of it.
Oh, and the other thing was this. Remember when Malaysia did say, "I'm never a plus one, I am the one."
Mm-hmm.
Jackie and Malaysia were pissed at those girls.
Yeah, and they didn't they wind up leaving that backyard barbecue early? They left, right?
Remember, because Jackie was in that black truck. I remember where they were leaving from. Maybe that's where it was, because remember, Jackie was in the black truck. She rolled the window down and saw some.
Yep.
She was over it. Like Jackie
Yeah.
wasn't happy at all.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So again, that's why I feel like Jackie didn't tell the truth.
Yes.
That's what I'm getting.
Agreed.
All right. I'm sorry to go that long with this. I was like trying to figure it out. So she said the Miami girls set the stage. Okay,
and
so
Toria, I agree with you.
Oh yeah, Tori says, why is Carlos even involved in interviewing basketball wives? He thinks he's supposed to be involved with everything reality, like he the king of reality TV. No, boo, you're not the reality king. So I will say this: they believe that though. And she said, "What is there to be afraid of?" Jackie is all black and white. The girls from that show believe that though. Even like Jackie said it, Brooke said it, Brandy has said, like they all believe that. So
right, but he's not. He's
I think
not, and he got fired from Roja. That what may not have been the best decision, but that storyline that they brought on
but
Candy.
that also goes into him being the king of reality.
No, but he got,
I
but
think the other thing is this, I want to see what the lady they're working with does for the next season with
right,
Evelyn there, because and the fact that Carlos wants her,
yeah,
because that makes a really big difference. It will show something very different as well when it comes to a woman being a producer, and for whatever reason, Carlos has a lot of faith in her.
mm-hmm,
So, and I don't know what shows she's produced, outside of Basketball Wives Part B. And I think that we can kind of agree that Part B was a little bit better,
it
but I
was
feel like
better.
at the end it was like, what's coming up next? Basically.
Right, right, right,
We
right.
didn't really get a lot from the show that time, but I think that's towards the end, like we just got so much. It was like overload.
Yeah, yeah. But I do feel like it was better. It was different. I think that, what I was going to say, and let me just get this out. I feel like, you know, hi- his producing, um, was, the thing that got him in trouble because they came up with that whole fake storyline with Phaedra, and
Yeah,
Phaedra got fired and he got fired. So, because you're insinuating that somebody is breaking the law, basically.
yeah.
And so that was a mistake. And the ladies did kind of call him the king, and that's what his podcast, he's wearing a little crown of reality. However, that being said, that does not make him the king. And he's interviewing them, Toria, because he said he's been a fan of the show since the beginning. He's been a fan since
I would be
Miami.
doing it if they would let me interview them. So.
Yeah.
I would
Well,
be the king of
exactly,
basketball wives at this point. I mean, if I
exactly.
could.
But you would do a better job than he is doing.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have an issue with his interviewing style or why he loves the show. I love like the fanness of him loving the show.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, besides Jennifer's thing because they're friends, but
Mm-hmm.
everything else I did like. Um, okay, so Jackie says no, Miami was canceled. She welcomed them all. She didn't care who they brought to the show.
That's not true.
I know. Well, we talked about that already.
Mm-hmm.
She said that because of the cast going against each other, she just wanted them to mesh together. However, that turned out she was cool. However, that turned out she was cool with it. She says she's a real basketball. This is what she really wanted to say. I'm a real basketball wife, and don't try me to take away any of my accolades. I'm Doug's wife,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what she was saying basically.
Basically.
So we can skip that. So it says, did any of the I think Carlos said, did any of the Miami girls come in with an ego? Jackie says no. She says, I was excited about Tammy. People thought that she had an issue with Evelyn, but she just didn't want the issue about her daughter, their friendship. She wanted to build a friendship not based off of social media.
Mm-hmm.
And Shawnee and her
And I could see that. I agreed with her.
yeah, and her and Shawnee were cool for the show.
Yeah. I agreed with
Um,
her.
I don't
Because she seemed like she was fine with Evelyn until Evelyn said that she donated to the GoFundMe because she was reading about it on social media, and Jackie did, and she was telling the truth this time. Jackie did ask her repeatedly to, excuse me, not talk about her daughter and not talk about that situation with her grandson.
who
um
edged that on.
I'm sorry.
Who edged that on?
I don't know. Are you going to say Malaysia?
Oh no.
Oh, I don't remember.
Her
I
name
just
starts with a T and ends with an I. Tammy did.
did. Tammy?
She did, very much so. Tammy kept pulling up stuff and saying things.
Yes,
We were
you're
not just to be
right.
friends. Like to be honest, it was like for me, and this is why
Yep, you're right.
I didn't like her. Because
Yeah,
I'm like, she's just coming in. Tammy already had her own issues with Evelyn
right,
when she came in.
right,
And she added her own problems to Jackie and Evelyn's problems.
right. Yeah. And you're absolutely right. I totally forgot that bit, but she was a part of that drama and kind of egg that on, because they both didn't really have an issue with one another.
Right.
And to be honest, that was their issue.
Because at
But
one point, Jackie had kind of let it go, and then Tammy was like, "No," because then she
no,
had said
because then
it,
she said this,
or
she did
or
that.
there was some scuttlebutt about her coming back to the show, and all of a sudden she
Yes.
dropped these money. Like Tammy was really antagonizing that situation.
Yes, she was, because
And
she
so
she was the
y'all
one.
be thinking I'll be like there's no reason, but there's no reason for not liking her ass.
Well, she was the one that really was showing
Yeah,
Jackie the GoFundMe payment and all of that,
yeah,
because Evelyn didn't come on the show being like, "Look, I donated to your daughter's thing." It was because Tammy was showing
yes.
Jackie and talking about her, because she doesn't like Evelyn and she never has. And it's so funny because they are a lot alike, and I always thought, eventually they could be friends. I never understood why
Who,
they never
Tammy and
could get
Evelyn?
around it. Yeah, yeah,
I
it would have
I
been
think
much better.
all the viewers wanted to see that. At some
Yeah,
point we did see that though.
yeah.
And we wanted that to continue because as a duo,
Mm-hmm.
Tammy and Evelyn were unstoppable.
Hilarious. They were
Yeah.
unstoppable. They were hilarious.
You even outside of Jennifer and Evelyn,
Mm-hmm.
Tammy and Evelyn were like unstoppable. But I think that Tammy has this. I'm the first reality star girl over here
Right.
to have to be like you can never.
Well, no. I mean, she slept with her ex-husband, so she's never gonna
Yeah,
let
but she
that
said that,
go.
but she repeated that that never bothered her. So then we can't add that into
But
the
she
story.
said that, but I don't believe her, because I
Well,
feel like,
well,
because
and we're
like
on the
even
same
her.
page with that, Cindy. We're on the same. But I'm just saying what she said.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like, and we're seeing examples of that with her body dysmorphia. I feel like she has been through a lot of trauma and has low self-esteem, and knowing that this woman, had been intimate with her ex-husband, whether they were together, separated or not, I don't think she was ever going to get over that. I don't think she was just
Well,
going to get
we
over that.
watched it. She did. She
Hmm.
did.
She never did. But when they got along, it was so dynamic and it was hilarious. It's like when they were both when Jackie and Shawnee were having lunch, and Evelyn and Tammy came in, and she was talking about doing
Do we need to
that was the
fight?
I'm sorry.
The one she said, "Do we need to fight?"
Yeah, she was no, she said where she goes, let's just fight. And they
Oh yeah, that's a fight.
and
Yeah.
Tammy and Evelyn looked at each other and just burst into laughter, and also that was the first time she said Ponderosa, and they said a Ponderosa. Like they're like, what the hell is a Ponderosa?
I wanted Carlos to ask her about Ponderosa. That's not
Yeah,
even a real word for a damn conversation. But
yes, no. But he did say Ponderosa more than once, but not in the context of asking her
where did that come from?
seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he kind of did, because she goes, most he said, are your Ponderosas mostly successful, Jackie? Because they don't seem like, and
But
she goes,
no, like
yes,
the
they
word
are.
Ponderosa doesn't mean a conversation though.
It doesn't mean a conversation. That's why they were laughing at her. That's why
Yeah.
Evelyn said, are you sure you mean a Ponderosa?
Yeah. I'm like, I wonder why Carlos never asked her that.
Like why should, because we know
Like,
that
why
Jackie
did she
doesn't,
choose the word Ponderosa for a conversation?
because we know that Jackie messes up words all the time, like charcuterie board. You know, she
I
messes
would
them
have been
up
like,
all the
do you
time.
like Ponderosa at a restaurant? Like, I don't know.
Or are we in a Western? Because that's where I have heard Ponderosa. Okay, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So then we get to the next. Oh, let me read Toria's comment. She says, "Jackie, you're on a reality show, and it should be spoken on. It should be spoken on. Period. Jackie brought her kids on the show.
Yep.
Everything is fair game. Jackie did not want us to know how she is not living this perfect life."
Yeah.
And Carlos, I think, said this without saying, like, not in the interview, but he did say
Hmm.
that. Tori says, yes, Tammy and Evelyn was funny and better than Jen and Evelyn. They were Mean Girls. I love the Mean
Yeah.
Girls. I
Yeah.
did.
Yep.
Okay, so let's go to the next part. Um, she threw. Oh, so she started throwing shots at Jennifer, which we know now.
Yes, which we know why.
Yes.
Hmm.
She threw shots at Jennifer, saying she's from the Miami show. She says she doesn't give a F where she came from. She came from Christie Committed. Uh, before basketball, she interviewed for a show from Dick Clark Productions for a show just like Basketball Wives. They confirmed her on the show. One of the wives got on the table and started gyrating in front of the producers. They told her a few weeks later there was a similar show that had already been greenlit, so they stopped production. She produced some other shows after, and a few years later, she got into Basketball Wives.
No, where's the shows that you were producing afterwards, Jackie? And also, Christie's Committed was canceled. Okay, so stop trying to hype that up, Jackie.
I'm
And
surprised
then,
you even know what that show is.
right, I told you I watched a couple of episodes and I was like, why are we doing this? But anyway,
I wonder if we go
so
back and like see that on something.
let me see if I can dig it up. Let's see what I can find.
Yeah, I want to see it.
Yeah, with the internet, we can always find something. So let
Yeah,
me see if I can dig it up. Yeah. But then for the rest of it, what she was saying was, gosh, I lost my train of thought now.
Victoria said Jackie Elevator is stuck on the ground. It really is though, because she's like so convinced, like Jackie's, what is it called? Jackie's I can't remember the name of the damn show.
Committed.
Jackie's Committed, yes. Like
Christie.
like nobody knows what the fuck it is.
Yeah, nobody knows. Sorry, Jackie.
And she was like, I was on though, Tammy could say like I was on Married. I mean, was it Married with Children?
Yeah.
But she's like Jackie's Committed. Like no one knows what that.
Nobody knows what that is, Jackie. Like I said, it was canceled. Like I said, I was probably one of the only 10 people that caught a couple of episodes of
Toria
that.
said she watched it too.
Oh, see, there we go, Toria. And anyway, so what I was going to finish up saying about Jackie with that is that she said then Basketball Wives called her a year later and then asked her to head it up.
Now you already know we know.
When she said that, my mouth dropped open like, say what? Jack, come on, Jackie.
I'm like, did your last name go in?
Right.
Did you sleep with Shaq too?
Thank you. Like, no, they did not ask you.
I'm not understanding.
Now, I believe, yes, they did offer her to be on the show because she is a basketball wife. But the way she makes it seem like they built the show around her, and they did not. They didn't. Sorry.
He even kept saying like me and Shawnee built this together.
No, yeah. When she said that, I was like, let's get Shawnee on the line so that we can get some clarity here. Right. That's not true. And then she was just like, and then, she was like, Shawnee and I still catch up. And when she's in town, we'll have lunch and stuff. I was like, you are not tighter to her than Evelyn is. I'm sorry, ma'am.
No, I think they do though, to be honest.
I'm sure they do, but not in the way that she's like, yes, not like, oh, you're my such, you're my good girlfriend kind of way. Not like that. She's probably like, you are a member.
You're like, Jackie, quit calling me. I'm gonna call you back in a minute.
Right.
Exactly. I'm gonna call you back, girl. I'm busy.
I'll get to you. Right.
Let me answer my phone because Jackie won't stop calling me. What do you want, Jackie? What do you want? What do you want?
Exactly, because it's like, that's what even Jennifer was saying. She goes, it was weird having an EP as a cast member too, because she would be having calls with production and and had was in charge of editing and creating storylines basically. So Jackie wasn't doing all that. And when Carlos was giving her quote unquote flowers, talking about you're the uncredited producer of Basketball Wives, I was like, stop telling her stuff like that. She's
gonna go back on the show next season and say all that.
Right. I'm like, she's not though, but whatever.
All right, we got to speed through some of this, and then you got to go.
Yep.
So Jackie and Evelyn, he says Evelyn is one of the greatest reality stars ever.
Thank you.
I know she didn't like that. About the build of horsepower and Evelyn met her match.
I disagree with him.
I disagree too, and we can literally sit that there and let it go because I don't think that was true either.
That's not
true. Like she went way below the belt.
Yep.
And what she was mad about her daughter, she should have never made those comments. Agreed.
And she did. I will give her credit though, as Carlos did, for fessing up and owning that she was very apologetic, and she said that she did just she didn't want to talk about her daughter's situation. So she said the most hurtful thing that she could think of.
Right.
You know, and anybody that knows Evelyn from off of these shows, you
You know.
cannot
Yep.
you cannot talk about her children.
Absolutely.
Absolutely can't. It's just going to set her off into a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I did appreciate the apology, like her being
I appreciated that too.
letting us know that they're really good friends and they're
Yep.
past it. It also makes me wonder then why aren't Jennifer friends anymore? But that's the story for today.
Right.
So then we get to Malaysia versus Jackie. She said she had been sitting outside, had to use the bathroom, which we know this part.
Mm-hmm.
At the third friend, really serious. She's so fed up because they had talked earlier that day.
Yep, they talked. She said they spoke in the morning and they had been speaking all that week, and so that is a little crazy too. Because why didn't she just ask her friend?
Well, and I think that's why she was saying earlier in this interview that she feels like they wait till they get on camera to confront her.
And maybe production is asking them to do that because if they are all kumbaya or they've already resolved their differences, then what is the point of them being on the show?
I did like that Carlos really laid into I know they're really friends because had anybody else they would have been to blows by now.
Yes, agreed.
So that made a big difference or whatever. I thought that was a very great observation.
Yeah, because he was like, he goes, you guys were standing eyeball to eyeball, eyelash to eyelash for like a good 10 seconds. And they were. Now that is a scene that I won't forget either. I was entertained. I was. Yeah.
So let's get into the actual this season. He was asking Jackie. He said Jackie, talking about Jackie had no idea that in the scene that Malaysia quit the show, she was actually going to quit the show. She knew Malaysia didn't want to be around the women. She had been trying to fix the issue. Jackie had been trying to fix the issue with the other women for a long time. She missed the Jennifer's hair event when she brought the girl Ashley.
Mm-hmm.
Jackie didn't know Malaysia was going to actually go to the event with Ashley to Jennifer's event. She said, had she had waited for Jackie to come back, it would have went down that way. Malaysia said, you never know. Oh, what the future's going to hold.
Yeah. And I agree with that. And I think we've already said this too a number of times, is that I feel like, you know, if Jackie were around during that event, it would not have gone down like that, and vice versa. If, you know, Malaysia were around for this for part B, that whole situation with Jennifer wouldn't have went down that way either.
Yeah.
I cannot see Malaysia sitting at that fashion show letting Jackie get up and walk alongside of Jennifer. Like it's not going to happen.
Tori said, I gave money to the daughter's GoFundMe. I thought it was really wrong.
Yeah.
That her mother was not helping her. She going to be mad at everyone.
Exactly, Toria. It's like your grandson got burned. So it's like you know, medical expenses are really expensive. The daughter wasn't on her on the show, like what's her other daughter's name? The one she really likes. What's the girl's name? I know Doug Jr., but it starts with an S as well.
I know it starts with an S.
Mm-hmm. Dang, I can't think of the girl's name. But anyway,
I keep thinking about Samaya, but that's not her name.
No, is it Chanel or Shani? Shani. It's like Shani. It's like Shani. I was like, it sounds like Shani. Yes, I think it's Shani.
Yes.
Anyway, that's the daughter that she really likes, and I can't imagine if her child got injured in that way that she would have to be bailing out money for GoFundMe.
Right.
Sorry, Jackie.
That says, does Jackie feel the loss of Malaysia? She says yes, but she's more concerned about Malaysia's mental health because Jackie told her she sees a way to work this out, and Malaysia said her mental health is more important. She asked Jackie to let her handle her business. I mean,
and give her time. Give her time to get.
I feel like we're all there for that part.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
You come back, you know, let's move on. Carlos
and then sometimes too, you know, like all of them have said off and on, you know, you just get tired. Sometimes you just need a break.
Said that she's tired.
Yeah. You know, and sometimes you just need a break. Take a season or two off.
But I mean, sometimes when you can't take a break because this is your income, I mean, you already have to financial burdens,
Mm-hmm.
what happens for you next? Like, I think that's my biggest concern when it comes to
But if you break down, like if you break down, it's not going to matter one way or the other.
All
Your
right, Carlos
mental health
asked,
is
what does Jackie say to people thinking Malaysia left because of the alleged foreclosure comment? Jackie
mhm.
said she thinks Malaysia's mind was made up before that. She asked British what the issue was, and she said she would let the other ladies talk about it themselves. So Jackie forced the conversation when they all met, thinking it was the table throwing in Amsterdam for Jennifer. She
Mhm.
had no idea she was going to throw out the foreclosure.
Right.
Jackie have been oh, okay, so you want to talk about that real quick?
Well, yeah, it's just, I mean, I look, both things were wrong. I don't want to hear about the women's financial issues. I felt like that was a really low blow. But, again, kudos to Jen for finding a voice finally after 12, 15 years. But I felt like she shouldn't have said that. But I really feel like the straw that broke the camel's back for Malaysia was that Ashley situation. I think she was done. She just didn't want to be there. She just did not want to be there. And I think, you and I have already discussed, her mannerisms where she just seemed dismissive and kind of checked out. I just felt like this wasn't the right environment for whatever was going on with her. And again, it might not be we as fans and viewers, it might not be just about finances or a foreclosure, right? It could be something else that she's dealing with mentally. We age, we go through a bunch of stuff. And, as we grow, I feel like, even when she was talking about her brother that, passed away, it was so raw to her. Maybe she just, like how things kind of build up and you don't deal with them. And then you're forced to deal with them because you start to break down. And I'm going to give that lady grace because Lord knows that we, have all had difficult times that we wish that we could just get out of work, and just skip work.
Um, I'm gonna see what you said.
Oh, I mean, you can have your own opinion. I'm just saying, I feel the,
I think
um,
she left because of that comment. I don't think she left because of anything else.
okay.
And I just feel like Malaysia, for me, is a big cop out because she's been there for everybody else's shit, and then when it's her turn, she's out. And she's sit there through everybody's problems on the show. Brandy's cancer, Jackie, whatever the hell Jackie had going on. Anybody's stuff that Drea and all her stuff that she had going on with the cast when she brought her friend on the show. Like there was
But Malaysia, for the most part, has been sympathetic to all of those women's issues
but she didn't give them the option to do that with her though. So that's
because
not
she
fair.
didn't know those women. We have to realize
She
that
knew
this was
Brandy
a
and
mission.
she knew Brandy and Jackie.
But she
So
knew Jackie,
that's
but
not even,
Brandy and her hadn't
hold
talked for
on,
years.
Senor. Wait, give me a second. She knew Brandy and Jackie though. That's my thing. And even if she didn't know Brandy, she still knew Jackie. And that's for me. I just feel like it's a cop out for Malaysia to leave the show because she has too much going on. Now, yes, Jennifer has some vendetta towards her,
Yeah.
but she had vendetta towards Jennifer as well. Like everything that Malaysia has done to other people on the show, or people have expressed with her, they've all like never left the show because of that. So I'm just not there for Malaysia leaving the show because it's just too much for me. Like, absolutely not. That's what made the show for everybody else, and then you were okay with all that. So then you being in the hot seat, and then you going through your things, and then leaving, to me, it's a cop out. When she comes back after they take her pay down.
I disagree, but again,
I know you do.
I
I know you do.
yeah, but I mean, I feel
I
like
think it's unfair.
I hear what you're saying, from a viewer perspective, but on a human perspective, I don't think that, looking out for your health is a cop out. And
As a human
nobody,
perspective, I can agree with you
I'm
all
and
day.
again, I hate to say, I hate when people distinguish, medical health or mental health differently. Like your health is important, whether it's mentally, physically, it doesn't matter. And I don't feel like anybody needs to go into, it's like even Angel with her postpartum, she chose to share that maybe because she couldn't hide it, because that was the only thing that she really talked about on, you know, a part A and B is about being pregnant and then having postpartum depression.
And she still
But
shared
again,
it though.
I'm sorry.
But she still shared it though.
She did share it, but I'm just saying that certain times you're in a different places though. So that's it. I don't want to belabor it. And again, we're getting close to the time that I have to bounce. But
I know, I know.
you
That's
know,
what I'm
but
trying to hurry and get through this.
yeah, I don't feel like it's a cop out, but I'm curious if other people may feel the same way that you do. You know, I mean, if we're
Toria
gonna
says
say
so that you don't like her, so you would never give her a pass. But she
right,
knows Jackie cannot hold water. She has so much loss, and when you have children, it's hard to deal with your grief. For me personally, I feel like a lot of them have had a lot of the things in Malaysia going on, and they shared those things. And Malaysia sat there through all that stuff. She hasn't given a damn about a lot of people. I mean, just Jennifer alone, like for me, I feel like she didn't care about any of this stuff because she was not on the down part. But then when it's your turn, like you just exit the show, for me, she would have to come back and work her payback up for me because
well then you know
everybody else
what?
is sharing. I mean, Angel Brings sat there, even if she wasn't there every episode, she served postpartum with us this season. So and even
But that was to explain
Brandy
why
shares her
she
cancer
wasn't
story at
around.
the time. I know people hate her cancer story, but people are sharing stories that actually are worse than what Malaysia is going through. But
We
they're
don't know
sharing.
what she's going through. You're just assuming that you know that it has to do with the foreclosure, but we don't know really what's
Well, no, we
happening.
also know that Janero's not paying child support. She's talked about it, so
Well,
we know that
so what?
so
Which one is it? Did she share or did she not share? I'm saying that
all
Angel
she
talked
said was
about
that
her.
from what we know, I mean, she's been saying Janelle hasn't paid child support for years, so we knew that
Okay,
part already.
but
But then also, what you didn't know is when I told you this, that Jamal Bryant had bought that house for her, and now
right.
it's in foreclosure. So there's a lot of things that Malaysia's not sharing, and that's why I'm saying
And
for
she
me,
doesn't have to share that. The other women don't share about what
I'm
their
not
men
saying.
are making
Listen,
or
I'm
not
not saying you have
making.
to share this. I'm just saying these women have been sharing their life stories with us. Malaysia, because now she has to actually share. She's like, I'm out. But you are there
No,
to tear down everybody else. For me,
that's not
I just
true.
can't deal with that.
That's not true. And again, I feel like Angel only talked about her postpartum as a way to explain why she's never there. I do believe that she was experiencing it, and I can't speak to how serious and severe it is for for a woman to go through that. Although I've had plenty of friends go through it, but again, just say I can't be on the show because I have a newborn or whatever, but give me my money. I feel like also if we you feel like Malaysia's check should be diminished somehow, even though she
When she
was
comes
the
back,
hold on, even though she was one of the women who started the show and the other women did not, including Brandy. I feel like
I know
well,
what
then we should make British give back her whole paycheck because her whole
she should give
thing
her
was a
paycheck
lie.
back. I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
She should give her whole paycheck back.
Yep.
I mean, they literally paid for a Airbnb that she got COVID relief for. She should pay it back.
Yep.
It's not a Malaysia thing for me. Like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if you didn't do what you were supposed to contractually do, you need to give the money back, or your money should go down. To be honest, I just feel that.
I don't know. So Deb, I feel like and I kind of am in agreement with Toria here. I feel like if Brandy and Malaysia did not have a falling out and they were just as tight, I don't think you would be this harsh towards her.
Because we would have got more of a story from her.
Uh,
And those are big facts because they've always shared between each other, not even with the other cast members. Remember, they went to wherever they was in London, I think, and they had their
It
own
was
show.
Paris. It was
What was it?
Paris.
Hmm?
It was Paris.
Oh, Paris. They had basically their own show, and then
Yeah.
Malaysia went and cussed out Jackie British and Sunday, and it was over for them. And then they made themselves a part of the Brandy and Malaysia show. But for me,
But they're not close like that anymore, and sometimes you just don't want to share.
and then don't sign up for the show.
She's been on the show. What she
But
did was
if you're not,
bow
but the show
out.
is about sharing your life, though.
Yes, but sometimes you cannot share, and I don't see anything wrong with bowing out if you can't. I don't see that. Because again, I'm not a personal friend of that woman, but when something is hard, it's hard. It's just like if Brooke was like, I can't, I would love to come back to the show, but I can't do it because of the situation with her daughter.
But you know what she's gonna do next season? Share that.
But she
That's
may
why
not.
they're showing her and Evelyn hugging and with the heartfelt messages because of that. Like we know she's
But
going
she,
to do
but
that.
she, but she may not though. So Deb, and that's okay. Just like what she said in her interview with Carlos was that she didn't want to address the situation with Jackie because she didn't want to talk about her daughter. She said she told all the producers, all the girls, don't bring up her daughter because she didn't want to talk about her
But what
daughter.
did she end up doing though?
Talking about her daughter
That's what I'm
because
saying. So
because but that's her. Everybody's different. Everybody is different. I'm just saying. And maybe next season we might not hear about it all season because I think she kind of want to
I don't
focus
talk about it all
once.
season, but I'm just saying it's a part. Like if you're on reality television,
Yeah.
so if you want to be on, like, it's reality. Like if you're not going to share that, then don't come back to the show.
Yeah, but
If
also we
you're
also know
here,
that
then
reality
unless
TV
you are
is
over at this time, then come back after that. But I'm just saying, for us watching the show, again, this was also causes people to watch the show and be like, I don't want to watch this because y'all don't. What's happening with you? Malaysia, every episode that we watched her, it was the same. That's why I didn't like Tammy on the show. She was like, she came in from this side and walked over to this side and she was gone. It was boring. Like I didn't want to see it. Brandy's here.
right.
Brandy's here. Bye. I'm out. Jackie's here. She wants about Brandy. I'm out. Douglas talking about Brandy. I'm out. Like it was like if had you had just said something, we could have ended this so fucking fast. But for me as a fan of the show, especially from LA, I don't want to watch that. Like just don't come onto the show.
Right, but so Deb, you have to also realize that a lot of the women were saying too that they wanted to, have the show be more. And Malaysia said it herself. She goes, it's just like if you go to work, right? You want to go to work and you want to enjoy your job. And for Jennifer, she was like, I don't want to go to work and fear for my safety, right? And I feel like when Malaysia said in Vegas, she goes, I don't want to come around you girls and fight all the time. I want to have fun and do those kinds of things. And she was trying to get back there, but the women weren't really I saw the conflict between Malaysia and all of those women
Because she
against
committed to
her.
all of them already.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. They
You
didn't
know,
all
through
gang up
tables
on
at Jennifer,
they
she
did not
dragged
gang up
Angela
on
Brooks' job.
they
She
did not gang up on her the
she
way
was
that
mean
the
to Brooke when Bambi was there. Like every girl that was on the show, Malaysia didn't have no good relationship with them because she was a bitch to them when they were all on the show. So I get it. Besides Brandy, everybody
no.
else, I understood that because Malaysia wasn't nice to them. So now all of a sudden they're all back here, and then I see you. I gotta leave, and because I'm going through some things. Malaysia was never nice to these girls on this show, and I will never give Malaysia. And I like Malaysia. I told this before,
No,
the
you don't though. You
no,
really don't.
no, I'm saying before she went to the table with Jennifer, I like Malaysia,
No,
even though
you
she did all
didn't.
the bad things she did. Because I'm like, when it's her turn, she gonna
No, no,
handle
no.
it like Malaysia. But then when things get hard for her, and these girls all come back, there's not a girl that was on the season that Malaysia didn't do anything bad to.
There was
Who?
Jackie.
She was mean to Jackie every season. They had to make up every
But
season.
but so what? They made up and moved on.
But I'm just saying she was still mean to Jackie.
None
But
of them are
Jackie
the
wasn't her issue
nicest.
though either though.
None of them are the nicest. Look at Brandy's behavior towards her so-called friends, Duffy and Malaysia. She's been, Carlos said it in this interview, she's literally been in the middle of everybody's everything. So
But
that's
then,
not her being mean.
we'll go through her interview and that changes though.
Okay.
So for me, I still don't give Malaysia the cop out situation. And when
I
she
don't
comes
feel
back,
like she's
she
copping
definitely
out.
needs
I
her
feel
down
like
for payment.
yeah, I feel like again, someone's health is their health, and that should be the thing that they focus on. And when Jackie was even talking about it, I believed her. She sincerely was like, she just asked her to stop. She goes that she goes, I'm not gonna try to force her to come back. She needs time to work on her stuff and let her do that. And she was okay with that. And
My only issue
I'm
with
okay with
Jackie
it.
saying that is Jackie lied to this entire interview. So I don't believe that
Oh
Jackie
my
told the
goodness. Okay,
truth.
let's move on. So Deb, we're running out of time here. Let's move on.
Let's just go on to the last point. I think that he asked Jackie what her cast was.
Her
Let's
Dreamcast.
not
Yeah,
up there.
yeah, yeah.
She said her, of course. Shawnee, Tammy, Evelyn, Jennifer, Malaysia, Sunday, which the hell are out of here. Drea, Brandy, Duffy, and Angel Briggs. How do you feel about that?
I feel like I agree with her except for Angel.
and Sunday.
You know, I mean, Jackie just wants her little friend there. I don't want Sunday back, but whatever. I mean, if we could have all those other women back, they're gonna wash out Sunday. They're gonna wash out Sunday. You know,
That's 11
and
girls.
so what? You
That's
know,
that cast is way too. Who's a friend of the show? Sunny's the friend of the show.
okay, well,
Angel Briggs definitely will be a friend of
so
the
we
show.
could get rid of her, but we could also get rid of Jennifer. She's always been more of a friend of the show to me
Well,
too.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
I would give Jennifer, I would give Sunday and Angel Briggs friend of out of Jack's list, which brings us down to what 10, 11,
Drea.
9. Drea has to be a main cast member though.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be mad at that though.
And
I
you
mean,
know,
but also, you know, again, this was her dream cast. We all know that Shawnee is not coming back either,
and Duffy
and Duffy
and Tammy.
and Tammy. But yeah, but we're talking about, you know, yeah, if you had your ultimate dream, whether it's 9 or 11 girls, he just asked her who would she want back the most. And again, she did point out all of the force multipliers, you know, all of the people that we really like, except for Sunday, yeah, and Angel and Jen.
LA girls though.
Yeah.
I feel like she named the LA cast and then the girls from
Miami, basically, except for Susie, right, and Royce.
But she said she didn't watch the show, so I didn't see her name.
All right. Yeah, I don't know.
Allegedly, I'm just saying.
Allegedly. Because I was like, I mean, wasn't she the one wanting to do all of the research for her roles and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
Can we go to? I agree with Toria. This comment above this one that you're highlighting.
Okay. She moved her kids out there, and they had to adjust. She was just through so much. Her mental health is more important than all
those women. And the comment above that.
They were not having it because of British and Jackie. Even Brooke did not give her a chance when she tried to come back, and Jen was a reason as well.
All right, let's just leave it there.
I'm not saying that Malaysia is wrong for quitting. What I'm saying is this: everyone that you've named here, Malaysia's done bad things to. So for me,
and they have done bad things.
I'm saying before Malaysia did bad things to them, she did bad things to them. So when Malaysia quits the show because of her, I mean, she didn't ask about their mental health during this stuff. British is really going through. Never mind, because I can't even say that with a straight face.
Right. Right. I mean, let's just skip.
Jennifer definitely was going through all her stuff with those guys that she had dealt with. Jennifer, I mean, Malaysia never cared about that.
I just want to. I don't want to go back and forth. I just agree with those comments, and it's important that she said that. But what was the last one that you highlighted?
She said Duffy. No.
Yeah, she's not coming back.
Oh, she's not coming back. No.
She announced, Toria, at the end of the reunion, on the reunion day. The day of the reunion, she announced on her Instagram that she was not coming back.
Yeah.
And she wished the other ladies well. I feel like she just wants to continue to grow, and I applaud her for that. And so Deb pointed out, which I clutched my pearls, was she even sold her reunion look. She didn't even want that dress. She was like, you guys can have it. You guys have it. Yeah, and it was interesting that Jackie said whether Duffy came back on the show or not, she's really good TV. So I think that even Jackie knew that she was done. Yeah. She was done.
When we do our branding, I need you to have time, Cindy.
Oh, I'm gonna have time. I'm gonna have time, as long as it's not on a Friday.
We got to make it to Brooke on Monday, so we're continue on Monday, guys.
Monday and Tuesday, right?
Yeah, Monday and Tuesday with Brooke and Brandy. So
perfect.
If you guys haven't already watched those, go ahead over to Carlos King. Thanks. You come in with how you feel about it before I get to Brandy.
Look, I'm not going to dog her out. She really did give the best and the most tea. She was in a good place. I feel I'm so relieved that her son is recovering, and I hope that he's done with his health scare. And like I said, I was refreshingly surprised at that. I was was like, what? She's owning up to these things. And I have nothing bad to say about her in that interview at all. At all.
And that's all that really matters.
To you. That you forgot those 2 words. That's all that really matters to you.
And I think once we actually get to this, I might have to pull some like audio clips and everything for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because people
I'm happy to grab whatever you want to.
Well, go do your thing, Cindy. We'll be back on Monday.
Yes. And thank you guys for tuning in and hanging in there with us. You know, I think, like I'll say it and I'll say it again. I think we make it much more entertaining than it actually is.
Yeah.
But Jackie's interview wasn't bad. It just wasn't genuine.
Yeah, and I think that we both didn't realize that it was not after the show though, because Brooks was after the show too, right?
I think it was because they were, like I said, they were talking about her daughter and Jackie, and she was talking about the receipt she had about Jackie and her daughter. So I think it was after. Okay, I'm gonna do that, Toria.
Find Jackie's cancel sheet, please.
I'm gonna find it for you, so Deb. I'm gonna find it.
I will review the show.
Okay. I to be honest, poor Jackie. I don't know if it's enough episodes to do a full review, but we'll see. We'll see what we can find.
But
all right, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.
I'll see you on Monday. Love you.
Okay, I love you so much. And then, if you guys are on the replay game, please make a comment and hit like. We really appreciate it. And I, have so much fun doing this. And then, Brooks is a little bit heavy, but when we get to Brandy's, it's going to be much more enjoyable for sure. Gives a lot of insight. It gives a lot of insight to this last season for sure.
Absolutely.
Yep. All right. Night. I'll see you on Monday.
All right. Bye, Cindy.
Bye.
All right, y'all. So make sure you guys go ahead and like, subscribe, share this video, because I'm pretty sure that there's some controversial things that I said. There's some things that you guys agree with that Cindy doesn't agree with. Share what your favorite part is of the show. Tag me in it so I can see that you guys have done it. I love you guys so much for sticking with us, because again, these interviews are older, but I didn't want to do Brandy's until we did this one, because these 3 before this one, because it just gives more context to Brandy's interview. So make sure you guys tune in, and I will see you guys in the next video, y'all. Bye.
Did it, I 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 did it, you did it, I did it, you did it.